Just started TRT 2 weeks ago. Already feeling the effects. When can I say safely blast and cruise? Any advice?
I would say, do more research. They utilize 600 milligrams of testosterone with success and without a lot of negative side effects. There's a big difference between replacement dose and a dose that would get you into like a super physiological range. The range that would get you into a super physiological range can feel really good, so you have to be kind of cautious of that. You have to think about it. It could be something that you get addicted to.
You just said you have 3 kids. Let's go ahead and stay around as long as possible.
There's some things to think about and consider, but it sounds like you're already there. People can always rely on us to be late.
That's okay because I did set it, so it was originally going to be 11, so I put 11:30. I looked at the clock and realized we're not going to make that, so I put it for 11:45. So we're actually early, guys.
We're early?
We're on top of things.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
That's so crazy.
You're mixing up some pre-workout over there or something?
We had Vigorous Steve on, remember? And
I remember that guy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he was talking about all these nootropic supplements, but I was like, okay, well, what's level 1, man? Because I'm not ready for all this shit. And he said, go buy Respawn from Gorilla Mind. So I bought it, and I did a half scoop yesterday. Felt pretty good. Today I'll do a full scoop. I'll never do 2 scoops of this shit because apparently 1 scoop is like 150 milligrams of caffeine. Oh, you were right. How the fuck am I gonna
Oh, you need to make a
I need a funnel.
Make a thing out of the paper.
Make a funnel. Yeah.
Is this the shit that you used to do when you were younger?
Oh yeah. Back in before we had shaker cups.
Dude, how do you not work for NASA?
Right?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
you need
wild.
Yeah,
It's like genius.
Yeah, it's like trying to figure out how to make a good protein shake. Like you need a lot of details.
A lot of stuff
go into it,
That
right?
camera's crooked.
Okay. God, it's just making the
Hey, by the way,
Hey.
I got a news flash for everybody.
This just in.
Yeah, this just in. The full carnivore steak shake, it turns into fucking pudding when you put it in the fridge. Put it in the freezer, and it kind of sort of turns into ice cream, but you would have to use like some sort of cream or milk for that to work. Without the use of the Ninja Creamy. So all I did was Ninja blender it, and I threw it in the fucking fridge, and it turned into pudding.
Was this a feature or a bug?
It has bugs in it.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, extra protein, right?
Yeah, it's the bug protein. No, it's just I don't know. I didn't intend for that to happen, but I think it's a combination of the collagen and the beef isolate. It makes it I don't know, it makes it kind of fluffy. It gets a little gelatinous when you put it in the fridge.
I'll give it a go.
It works amazing. I did it with only water and ice, and it worked. So if it works with that, you can fucking make it work with whatever other mixtures you want to throw in there. But you need like low amount of water. Can't use a lot of water.
Okay.
You need to make a video just showing people how to do
I
it.
did. I made a
You
video.
did?
Yeah.
There, see, genius.
Genius.
Oh, yeah, this Finnegan guy. It's Gorilla Mind, Finnegan. It's called Respawn. It's from Derek's company. So he asked, what the fuck? It's yellow. I don't like that. I wish it was like a punchy color because this just makes me...
Punchy.
Makes you nervous?
It does make me nervous, right?
Because of the yellow dye?
While you're sipping on that, I'm going to sip on some Kratom.
It does taste pretty good.
I'm going to sip on 2-day-old energy drink that I didn't finish from 2 days ago.
Well, we'll get into this. But someone did actually ask a question.
Already?
Not yet. From Nicholas Olzug. I don't even think that's how you pronounce it, but it's O-Z-U-G. We have you guys... Okay, why have you guys found that carbs from flour/grain-based sources are like crack? Have you found any particular grain/flours to be more optimal for usage in minor amounts to be more satiating? Thanks.
Miners.
I think that bread's awesome. I think it's a great carbohydrate. I really do. I think Greg Doucette has talked about this quite a bit. I haven't really seen a lot of other bodybuilders talk that much about bread, but it wasn't uncommon for bodybuilders to utilize some like toast with their morning, like eggs and egg whites and oatmeal and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with bread. I think that the only thing I can think of is just that sometimes it's like a transportation system for a lot more calories. You're going to want to put butter on it or peanut butter or utilize it for a sandwich. And even in those cases, not necessarily bad, but you just turn a you turn a carbohydrate that is somewhere between slow and fast. It's like a medium speed because it's highly processed, right? but you kind of turned it into something that has fat calories as well, and so therefore it might be hard to stop. You know, if you eat rolls at Thanksgiving time, and you start throwing butter on those bitches, you're gonna eat a lot of them.
And this is the thing, man. It's like I'm the type of guy who, when it comes to a Hawaiian roll or white bread, stuff my face all the time with all of it, right?
I can picture you just stuffing a whole entire, like the whole little sheet of the Hawaiian roll.
I've had two
Probably
sheets.
all the way.
I've had two, like, you know, when they come in those nine packets, I've had 18 at once. They're so good.
Nice.
They're
That's
so good.
incredible. Like, you take that and just like smush it all together like in this tiny little ball.
And the best thing is putting butter in between. And have you done peanut butter in Hawaiian rolls?
I haven't.
It's been years, but it's amazing.
We just start doing it. We bring it back.
But the thing is, I would never do that with like wheat bread, right? So if you want to eat bread, but you don't want to eat horrible amounts of it, then get bread that you don't necessarily like that much, but hits the spot just a bit. Wheat bread for me is that. I can't eat a lot of wheat bread.
Yeah, you eat like a little bit of it, got a little butter on it. You had 1 or 2 slices, you're fine.
Yeah, man.
You're like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I do know that some people like sourdough bread.
Yep.
And some people think that like sourdough has like more utility because I don't know, it's like fermented or whatever.
It's supposed to be a pre-digested type of thing. I
Yeah,
think. So
Ben-
fermented.
Somebody else digested it for you.
Yeah.
Pre-digested bread. Wouldn't that be something, huh?
Yeah.
Ben Greenfield.
Bread Greenfield.
Yeah, Ben Greenfield. Ben Greenfield talks about it quite a bit. His wife bakes up some sourdough. So if you want to try to find a recipe for it, I think people were doing that like during the pandemic. For some reason, people were like baking bread. I'm not sure why that happened, but people were like buying toilet paper and baking bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick up a hobby, man.
Yes,
America.
The bro, something Nook, he was just explaining that sourdough and eggs, that's what I do for breakfast as well, just like he did. It tastes amazing.
Why does it put the flavor together? I just saw he said that.
I'm
Do
not
you know
sure,
why?
I'm not so much sure about I don't know, dude. Sourdough just tastes incredible.
I'm good, thanks.
But
I'll try it later though.
I don't know. He might be onto something. I do feel like it is more filling, but I think that's just because the sourdough bread from the regular bread I was eating has a little bit more calories.
English muffin is like sourdough bread, right?
I don't know.
Those are delicious.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? Like
It's
taste?
like it has like a little soury taste
It
to
does have a soury taste to it. You are correct. Do I know if it? Yeah, I don't know why though.
I don't know why it blends well with eggs. In South Africa, they use salt and vinegar on their eggs,
Makes sense.
which sounds kind of interesting and sounds a little weird, but actually tastes really good. I've tried it before. It's delicious.
I have to give that a go.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so a TRT question for both of you. If you're
Why
on
are you involved in this question?
why am I involved?
You're sponsored by Merrick as well.
If you're on TRT, is there anything that the physician can prescribe to you to restore your testicle size?
Less TRT.
Let's hit up our correspondent, Mike O'Hearn. Mike, if you wouldn't mind responding.
Did you see those videos that Mike did with Kenny?
I did, yeah. Mike's like at like a TRT booth or something, right? At like the Olympia or something like that? Or
It's Transcend Labs, I believe. Yes.
yeah. Who knows what the hell's going on? Testicle size?
Yeah.
He wants to restore those balls, baby.
I saw a cool video of, I think it was the Health Nut guy, of him smacking his balls. You guys see that?
Can Andrew pull it up?
He's in like, I think so. He's in like undies and he's like doing this underhand slap to his nuts.
No
and
way.
he's got like
His
a bunch
name
of
is
other
Health
people.
Nut.
You found it, Andrew?
I'm not sure if it was him or like,
It's that crazy white guy, right?
yeah,
It's that.
he drinks his own pee and stuff. But like, I don't think he was actually doing that as like, I think he was fucking around. But like, he was smacking his balls really hard.
Why does this motherfucker do this? Okay, let's see.
I don't know who you guys are talking about.
Okay,
but
his Instagram is
Okay,
certified health nut. He is a man that drinks his own urine for health purposes, and maybe there's a reason to it. But do you know the thumbnail for the ball video?
No, it would probably be more blatant than that. I don't know. Just see if you can find someone smacking their balls around on YouTube.
See, no, this motherfucker's also doing the butthole sunning. Like, there's the benefits of butthole sunning. Like, he's on that spectrum of things.
He's in the future is where he's at.
Spectrum.
Anyway, back to the balls. Some people believe that it's a good idea to utilize HCG. I would say listen to the podcast that Peter Itea did with Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Those guys know way more shit than we know, but it seems like if you're on TRT style dosages, not fitness TRT dosages, but like actual TRT, which would be maybe like 100 to maybe possibly 200 milligrams would be on the high end, that would be more acceptable for you to use HCG. I don't know all the science of it, but HCG, I'm going to say this wrong, but HCG can basically up your estrogen levels a little bit. So you may have to kind of be careful with that if you're also aromatizing the testosterone, which how do you know if you're aromatizing the testosterone? I don't know. It's a guess. You can get your blood work done, or you can see if your nipples feel puffy and sensitive, or if you cry during movies and stuff like that, maybe your estrogen's going up.
I cry during movies all the time. You're telling me something?
Mm-hmm. Your aromatization is on point.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, some people nowadays kind of say that HCG is a good thing to utilize while you're on TRT. And then also people are, I know that, I mean, this is a more common protocol. People use HCG when they discontinue HRT. So it's usually like a bridge to get you, in most cases. You can also listen to our podcast that we just did with Vigorous Steve, where he talks about wanting to get his wife pregnant, and he's working on that, and he's taking HCG. He might have mentioned a couple other compounds he's taking along with that, but obviously he's off of testosterone and things that might negatively impact his sperm count.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, any input there too?
No, that was well said. Yeah.
All right. I sent you the ball slapping video.
So,
Did you find it?
I found it.
We need audio though, right?
It's impressive, right?
But there's no actual.
Is it from the guy I was thinking?
It's from Health Nut. Yeah, and I'm assuming you want audio on this.
Yeah,
this is
I
great.
don't think there's any actual slapping though.
What?
There's no slap. No. Okay, well, we'll see, I guess.
A friend sends me this video of him naked getting out of the shower, and he starts slapping his balls. I call him up, and what the fuck is that, dude? And he goes, yeah, it's ancient Chinese secret. And so I tried it, and I was like, holy shit, it's like getting kicked in the balls, and the energy goes right up into your kidneys. So there's exercises where you stick your tongue out, and then you rotate all your junk one way and then the other way, and you can actually tie heavy weights onto there, and you can increase the size and girth of your and so you're supposed to knead your balls. You don't have to slap them, but I like to
just grasp them and like massage them.
And roll them like a circle. You can also roll them this way. You can get into your groin.
I've seen that Asian guy
this
talk
type
about
of
this
activity
before, too.
increases semen production and testosterone.
This guy's full of shit.
Before we say he's full of shit, let's think about this.
I'm going to give it a try.
I ain't going to slap my balls super hard, but I mean, like, sometimes it probably is good to get a little bit of circulation to certain things, right?
Sounds good to me.
And I mean, when's the last time you twisted your balls?
I mean,
Can you remember?
We have a penis pump, but we don't have like a ball pump. We need to do something to the balls too, right?
Does that thing have a ball pump, though?
Yeah, you stick your dick and
stick your balls
in there.
But, I mean, shit, when's the last time you twisted your balls? That's a legit question, guys.
Well, you don't want to like really twist them, though.
How do you know?
Because
it might help with stress.
Because it's an actual like diagnosis. You can get a twisted testy, and it's like really, really bad.
This is why you're here.
I know.
You see, you
That's why I
stop us
called
from
bullshit.
doing stupid.
Podcast engineer / clinician / ball massager.
Gynecologist.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay.
Smack your balls anyway.
You know what's funny though? When he said like, oh, you smack them, it's like you get that energy into your kidneys. It's the same thing as like when you were a kid and you were riding a bike and you hit a bump and you know when you did that and you felt the energy go into your kidneys? No, like that's not energy. That's that's pain.
Yeah, that's different.
It's like your balls and like your taint and everything got all squished.
Just made you want to throw up and yeah.
Yo. Okay, so real quick, there's a few other questions from Eric. Used to hear about glucosamine for joints. Now not so much. Any thoughts on this for prevention or joint pain? Eric, yeah, I used to take glucosamine for joint stuff. I don't really take it anymore. What's up, Andrew? Glucosamine.
Or, what's the other one?
Chondroitin.
God dang it.
Chondroitin, I guess.
I just lost.
Does it start with a G?
Yeah. Glutamine. Isn't that?
Glutamine is typically, people who used to use that for recovery. Some people still do, but glutamine is mainly used or was mainly marketed as like a recovery thing post-workout.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, but glucosamine was a joint thing. Eric, oddly enough, we've been getting into talking about a lot of movement stuff on the podcast. And oddly enough, if you are feeling joint pain, it might be a good idea. First off, if there are certain things like for a lot of people, bench press, a lot of tricep pushdowns, those things cause joint pain in the elbows. So you might want to stop doing those things as much, but you still want to get that joint moving. You still want to find that a way to move that joint through ranges of motion. What I've found for the joints that used to ache for me is by improving its function through its range of motion, all of my joint pain has pretty much gone away. So that's something. No, it's not a supplement, and it's more of a practice, but it's very helpful.
I would agree. I think like health practices are going to be the most important thing. If with any joint that you have, if you can try to express, try to find tension and try to find stressors that you put the body into where this shit kind of hurts, feels sketchy, but still very, very safe and not loaded. Say your elbow has a lot of pain. Rather than just, bringing your forearm towards your bicep or your forearm towards your shoulder, see if you can push your back of your arm like against a wall or something, and see if you can get like Kelly Starrett calls it like overpressure. So you can get some of that overpressure on that area. The same way Ben Patrick talks about with knees over toes, where you get way down in that squat and you sit down in that squat. And one of the reasons why you're sitting down there is it's opening up the knee in the front, and you are dropping your hamstrings down onto your calves, and you're kind of sitting in that position. And over time, that should help you get a little stronger from those positions. I have heard some people have some success stories with curcumin and turmeric. I don't personally have any, I haven't really noticed anything in terms of like that reducing inflammation for myself, but it is something that people talk about quite a bit. I also think about some other things when I think of people talking about inflammation and areas being like hot or these areas being just like screwed up, I guess. Diet sometimes can be a factor.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be different for everybody. I mean, sometimes somebody like really has like a fucked up elbow, and then someone's like, get on a carnivore diet. And it's like, okay, that'll help a teeny bit maybe. But people are in like legit pain, and sometimes they have real injuries, and it doesn't always solve problems for that. So you're going to want to investigate a bunch of different things. Cold therapy, fucking unbelievable. Get your ass in a cold plunge. And if it's mainly just your arm, that's kind of a lucky thing. And just maybe stick your arm into some sort of cold, whatever way you can figure out a bucket of ice. If that's what's bothering you, or your knee, cold therapy can be really, really useful. More so than just, putting like ice on something. I don't think that's nearly as effective. So you might want to look into some of those ideas and concepts. But in terms of glucosamine, I don't really think it's like super beneficial. I've never noticed anything from it.
Me neither. Do you actually see my voodoo floss to the left of you?
Yeah, it's on the bench.
It's on the. Can you? Yeah. I was gonna say. I'm actually gonna floss my wrist real quick. But who talked about this?
Amazing.
Ben talked about using this, while doing ATG squats or while doing deep knee flexion and moving through that range of motion. That's very helpful. So you can do the same thing with your elbow. You can voodoo. You can get the floss around your elbow. I know Kelly Starrett has guides on YouTube about how to wrap those things up. Get movement to that area. This could be the elbow. This could be the ankles. This could be the wrists. I've been voodoo flossing my wrists since I had a wrist injury a few weeks ago. It's getting much better. But what that'll do is like you move it around. It has compression.
That wrist isn't that big.
Don't trigger me right now.
No,
dog.
I meant like it looks nice in comparison to the forearm and bicep. Like it makes the bicep and the forearm, and it makes.
Like your wrist is really nice.
Anyway,
That's what he's trying to say. I
Yeah,
didn't say that. He said
wrist.
What you got to do is you got to take my insecurities and then put it out to the live audience, right?
Hurt people.
So that we feel better.
So you feel better. Okay.
That we can feel good about ourselves every once in a while.
Well, fuck you and your thick ass wrists. Okay? Fuck you and your thick wrists. But
I just have small forearms, so it makes my wrist not look so small. But
yeah, if you got bitch wrists like me or bitch joints in general, take voodoo floss, wrap that bitch tight. get movement to that area, try to get it through a good range of motion, take it off, blood gets driven to that area. Do that on a daily basis. You can even do that multiple times a day. And that's something that can really help out too. It's worth it and it's cheap.
Nsima, do you find that like you're saying your wrist, are you like flossing, well in this case, like up the chain, like up on your forearm to try to like loosen things up? Again, up the chain, or is it more direct? For me, for my wrist, it's not a forearm issue. It's like a direct wrist issue. I can even I can feel the stuff in there. It's not because of any type of tightness within the forearms. It's literally, it was an impact injury on the wrist. And since there's a lot of small joints and stuff and small muscles in the wrist, it's been taking a little bit to get better, but it has been consistently recovering. Even one thing that's been super helpful was using the rope. I have one of those heavy ropes, and twirling the rope. Initially, when the injury happened, I couldn't even twirl a rope because the wrist was in too much pain. But because the rope causes the wrist to move in a circular fashion, that's been something that's been super beneficial for the recovery of the joint, since it's causing the joint to move with that little bit of resistance.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when they have pain in like a wrist, as Andrew's pointing out, it could be some dysfunction coming from up higher, it could be something in the forearm, it could be something all the way into the elbow. And most of the time when you're talking about the wrist, you're talking about like some sort of lack of like mobility or something going on in the shoulder. But Nsima's shoulders seem to be plenty mobile. So this kind of activity is great. And then, as I think it was Ben that might have pointed it out, that acts as like mechanical leverage in a way. That acts a little bit as a strengthening tool. You're actually kind of exercising that area. In the case of especially like the ankle and the wrist, it's almost like there's like weight on your wrist. Lastly, don't forget about the impact and the importance of just throwing on some elbow sleeves and some knee sleeves here and there. It's really fucking useful. It's why I did it for so many years. And for somebody that is trying to get bigger and they're trying to lift a little bit more weight, I think it's amazing. Like if you're trying to push weight, if you're in the gym and you were trying to push yourself a little bit, it just, to me, it makes total sense to hork up some elbow sleeves and to get underneath some weight, and it will allow you to handle a little bit more weight for more sets and more reps. Who wears elbow sleeves and knee sleeves? Like, just watch Chris Bumstead lift. Watch The Rock. Like, just so many people utilize them. Not everybody, but a lot of the big bodybuilders and stuff, they'll utilize them. Just a little extra protection on the joint. You're not going to use them all the time. You just use them when you want to push maybe a little bit more weight, or when you're pushing your volume a little bit.
I'm a big fan. What's the smaller sleeves that you just came out called?
Those are the raw sleeves.
Those are the raw sleeves. If you guys go to, was it
markbellslingshot.com.
The raw sleeves are really cool because, and I notice it too when I do things like pull-ups and dips, because all it does is it keeps the joint warm.
Yeah, I don't think you have tons of elbow issues or anything, but you wear them, right?
Yeah. It keeps the joint warm, so it just feels more comfortable to do those movements, right? And it's for me, it's the simplistic aspect of it. Just, it keeps everything warm, right? So it's just, it's super comfortable. I like the raw ones though, because they don't take up too much space.
Well, the other sleeves, the strong sleeves and some of the other sleeves that we sell, they are much bulkier. And look at Kenny.
Who's that so fucking handsome ass Captain America looking?
Jesus Christ, that guy's jacked. But the other sleeves that we have, and some other sleeves you might see on the market, they're going to do a little bit more work for you. These are more passive, if that's something that you're looking for. We sell kind of versions of both, but I like these a lot too. I wore them this morning for doing some floor presses with some chains, which I haven't done in probably like 6 or 7 years. It's probably been a long time since I've done a floor press with some chains.
Yeah. Power Project family, if you guys want to get in on our next live Q&A, join the Discord down below, because this is pre-recorded and we answered a bunch of your fitness and nutrition questions. We also gave away some goodies from our sponsors. So if you want to get on the next one, join the Discord below and enjoy the show. Okay. Oh, by the way, guys, give us some likes on the video if you're here, because that'll help the live reach more people. That's number one. Number two, the people that ask questions are going to win some stuff from some of our sponsors. I know Hostage Tape is going to be giving out a year of tape to one lucky winner. So one of you guys is going to win a year supply of Hostage Tape. Oh, way.
That sounds like a lie.
Another thing is one of you guys is going to win a gift card to Vivo Barefoot. So if you want some nice Barefoot shoes, we talked about the Barefoot boots. They got a lot of good stuff over there. And someone's going to win something from the Iori clothing.
Oh my goodness.
And something from Within You.
There you go.
There you go. I had a brain fart, Mom. Okay.
It was cool to see the guest that came in today, that he was wearing wide toe
Yeah.
box shoes.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see that we have like an impact. And he mentioned he had other wide toe box shoes and stuff too. But it's just cool, man. It's cool to hear people like listen and that they're actually getting stuff from it. This is just like a passion for us. This is something that we have a lot of fun with. And we have a topic for today that we're going to get into in a little bit. We'll answer a few more questions before we jump in. But we're going to talk about sort of what we did years ago to kind of get us to where we're at, and if we would do things differently, knowing what we know now. It's a really interesting thing when you try to unpack that sometimes, because Chris Williamson made a post recently, and he talked about how when you ask someone famous or you ask someone that's successful, you ask them kind of how they got there, they sometimes forget about the pain and they forget the beginning stages. And so they usually talk more about what they do now. And now they'll say, well, I'm in my cold plunge and I go outside in my underwear and I wave a towel around. They talk about like the weird shit that they've come up with in the last several years. And a lot of those things are great. And a lot of those things do help you with maturity, and they help you with equanimity and all these different things. But there was a point in your life where you were unbalanced and where you were in pain and you were probably hurting. And that was probably at some point a big, big driver and a big reason why you're successful today.
Yeah, I love that post because it reminded me of like Josh Setledge when you were like, oh, just like drive here, drive there. And he's just like, dude, I don't know if I can even afford another tank of gas. And you're like, don't worry, like it's worth it or whatever. And he's like, dude, no, I literally can't afford it. But in time, hopefully he doesn't, but in time he could potentially be like, oh yeah, I just made sure I was everywhere Mark told me to go. And somebody else might be like, well, shit, I can't afford it right now. So it's cool to see that, like, you know, he pointed that out, that like, you know, these millionaires, billionaires, whoever, they're just like, oh, I just don't take anything serious and da-da-da-da. And it's like, fuck, bro. Like,
I really hope Josh, you know, I hope he took my advice from a few years back. I told him, I said, write a book. And he's like, oh, I want to someday. And I'm like, no, write one now. Like, start writing it now, because like you're gonna be doing something wild. You're gonna be super fucking successful, and I want to know the story from the fucking beginning. So I don't know if he follows through on everything. So I imagine he's probably been working on it.
He's
for a
probably
while.
like 18 chapters in.
Most of you guys know who we're talking about, but if you don't, check out the Instagram of Joshua Setledge,
AKA
Settlage,
Settlegate.
the BJJ strength coach. He has a lot of great content. He's a super intelligent dude, and he's the most disciplined person we know, probably.
Yeah.
One
Did you
of
start
the
the
most
same
disciplined
time you
people we
did
know.
around
Jiu-Jitsu? I think he started a little bit after me. I started seeing him at Cassio's a little bit after, but he's been a wrestler since he was a young kid. So when he started jiu-jitsu, he progressed quickly because he understood grappling. So
I love his mindset. Like when he talks about like, you know, like when he lost and stuff, like it just obliterated him. And it's cool to see like his maturity. And then in jiu-jitsu, I think the cool thing it sounds like about jiu-jitsu, which sounds kind of funny, is that you just get your ass kicked a lot. And it doesn't matter how good you are, how strong you are, you get like at some point you're getting humbled all the time. But I think the lessons that are learned in there are probably things that are real transformative for a lot of people.
I know we had a topic, but a lot of questions are rolling in.
Cool.
Keep them coming.
I'll keep them coming. I'll keep them coming. The next one, this is a quick one. I'm only a year into BJJ and I'm already getting cauliflower ear. What gives? I'm sorry.
lucky.
I honestly, do you want cauliflower ear?
I
Andrew?
It's like a rite of passage. I think.
I saw a good clip. This guy does all these Instagram like skits all the time, where he pretends he's coming out of his home and he runs into his neighbor that he doesn't want to talk to, and it's the same guy playing the same role. You know,
Okay, cool.
You know, he's just wearing different clothes, but he pops out. He's got his coffee in the morning. He's like sipping it, and the neighbor pops out of his door and goes, "Oh, I can't hear you. Like, what did you say something?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm just having coffee." He's like, "Oh, do you notice like my ear's a little ruffled up?" He's like, "You notice that?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's probably from jiu-jitsu you've been doing." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "I told you about it already." He's like, "Yeah, like 7 times."
Well, thanks for asking about it. It's actually going great. Yeah. I've only gotten one little minor flare up, and it was just because like something happened where like I got hit in my ear. And it was fine, but then like the very next round, I got a like really bad elbow or something to it, and it flared up, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And then it faded away. But I'm wondering if the person who asked if they do no-gi, I feel like maybe there's more opportunity for it to happen in no-gi since you're kind of more wrestling around?
I have a theory that the more you get into like front headlock type positions, and I think that like over time, certain parts of your body will callous. Because I have a little bit of cauliflower at the top here, but I caught that early, and I kind of just like didn't let people get me in a headlock for a period of time. And since then, like people try that shit on me all the time, but I think my ears have stiffened up so much that cauliflower just won't form. So with that being said, try not to get yourself put in headlock positions a crazy amount when you start jujitsu. And I feel like this is just bro theory. Over time, your ears will kind of get a bit more used to it. And then cauliflower ear won't be a thing for you. I never wanted it, and I barely got it, and I'm happy about that. But stay out of cauliflower type of positions that'll just get a lot of fucking friction on there for a while. And if you do get it, you know, if you don't want it to get worse, drain that motherfucker, put something over it, and then if you're gonna be that guy, be the guy that just puts on those ear thing. Put on some little headgear. Let that shit heal up so that it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, it's training, right? I mean, fuck.
Yeah, but some people love it. Hey, some people don't think you're a real grappler if you don't have it, so fuck it. Improving your sleep quality is as easy as shutting your mouth. And what I mean by that is putting some tape on, breathing through your nose, will increase your sleep quality. It's no longer just something that only the bros do. It's now been researched, and people understand that if you can breathe through your nose while you're asleep, you'll have better sleep quality and you will wake up more rested. Hostage tape is also really awesome because I know what I used to do. I used to use a little bit of a cheaper tape, and every time I'd wake up in the morning, the tape would be somewhere else on the bed or on my face, but it wouldn't be on my mouth anymore. But hostage tape, if you have a beard or if you don't, will stay comfortably on your mouth all through the night. And if you're someone who has a problem breathing through your nose, Hostage also has nose strips. So you can place those on your nose while you're asleep, or if you want to be like one of those hormozy guys, you can wear it during the day. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at hostagetape.com/powerproject, where you guys will receive an entire year's supply of mouth tape and the nose strips for less than $1 a night. Again, that's over at hostagetape.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Mark, if I'm switching from a regular collagen protein powder to wanting to give hardcore carnivore a try, should I be concerned with digestion issues?
I don't see any reason why. I think it should digest pretty good. The feedback that we've gotten has been amazing. The steak shake in general has been incredible. Like, we sell out of it all the time. For myself, I haven't noticed any difficulties, and one of the reasons why I made the full carnivore one was to take out allergens, things that people typically have issues with: eggs, dairy, which is whey protein. So I tried to get rid of all that stuff. Gluten. Andrew and I talked about it years ago, and he was mentioning that his wife has some gluten issues, and he's like, there's not really much out there that tastes, that has any sort of good flavor to it, that just doesn't have certain things in it that will bug people's stomach. And I was like, fuck, I'll work on it. So here we are, like maybe 4 years later.
Yeah,
it's made.
Yeah, in our household, it's a huge hit. My wife drinks it in the morning, and
awesome.
then so she'll have it with her morning stuff, and then she'll work out, and then she'll have breakfast afterwards. But she's able to drink it like a full serving, and then go do like a hard workout, like body weight stuff where you're doing a lot of ups and downs and stuff like
you're
that,
moving around a lot
that I don't want to do. So that's why I say hard stuff. And yeah, she's just fine. And when I drink it, same thing. It's incredible. I think I like it better with cashew milk than I do the regular steak shake, but I like the regular steak shake in coffee better than I do the new one. Keep
you buying both.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of screwed buying both.
AB, should I keep drinking Muscle Tech, Cell Tech Intra / post workout? Is it worthwhile? I've never done I've never drank Muscle Tech. Is it just like a Carbo Max type thing?
I think you maybe have to look it up, but I think if it's Cell Tech was carbohydrates and creatine. And I believe it was, like a dextrose or something like that.
Okay.
A lot of people do that for workouts. So I would say, I really appreciate that people are asking us questions, but I think, use your own intuition a little bit too. Like, how do you feel? I know for myself, years ago, I just made the decision to drink EAAs during workouts, essential amino acids. And I don't like the flavor. It makes my breath smell like shit. However, I do notice that midway through the workout, when I kind of don't always feel like pushing a little harder, when it is time to push a little harder, I feel like I can. And to be totally honest and truthful, I don't know if it has anything to do with the EAAs. It probably has more to do with hydration than anything else. But I do feel like I get some benefit from it, so I've stuck with it.
It's like intra-workout carbohydrates, whether it is from a one of those carbohydrate drinks or electrolytes during workout, does make a difference. I've felt a difference. I don't always do it because, like, honestly, sometimes I don't like carrying intra-workout carbs around or having to shake around, but it does make a difference. So if you're someone who's like, you're really focused on getting a lot of volume in your training sessions, you're pushing a lot of weight, having intra-workout carbohydrates does help, and it's something that will make a beneficial difference on your workouts. Yeah,
and as we talk deeper about maybe some of the stuff that we've done in the past, I've been having intra-workout shakes forever. And, people didn't really talk about intra-workout shakes years and years and years ago. They talked about post-workout shakes, so I did that for a long time. But I was diligent with it. I always had a scoop or two of whey protein and some sort of carbohydrate post-workout almost all the time for many, many years, minus sometimes of when I was doing like a ketogenic diet.
And for those of you guys who are like asking questions, if you actually want to get, whether it's the year supply of hostage tape or your Vivo gift card or your Within You gift card or your Viore gift card, you need to join the Discord and you need to message me if you win. If you don't, your prize will automatically go to somebody else. Somebody won an 8-sleep mattress a while ago. Quantum Cloud, I'm sorry, but his mattress went to somebody else because he didn't message me. So that being said, make sure you join the Discord. And if we call your name at the end of this episode, you must message me. Okay? Yeah. And there's like 78 of you watching and only 26 likes on the video. Take the half second to give it a quick thumbs up, please. Or you just hate watching us. That could
potentially
be the case.
People out there hating. Hate.
Jay Rar. How do you validate what information is accurate?
Oh. That's that can be a really tough one. I would say learning some lessons from some people that have seemingly came from obscurity to like all of a sudden being on this rocket ship where you're starting to see them everywhere. You see them a lot on IG and TikTok and YouTube, and you just see them, and you're like, man, where'd this guy come from? What was this person doing beforehand? I think those are all really good questions. And if you look back at the situation with the Liver King, when people were trying to dig through his past, there wasn't much to like find, which I think that's like suspicious, right? Like you just couldn't find much. People were digging and they couldn't find many pictures of him. It's almost as if, and this is probably what happened, it's almost as if somebody went in and deleted a lot of stuff from years ago or hid it in some way. I did hear for a while that he had like an old YouTube channel that just it never pushed to any certain level. But anyway, when it comes to trying to figure out good information, ask yourself, like, who is this source? The source doesn't always have to matter. It doesn't have to be a doctor necessarily, or it doesn't have to be, it has to be an idea though, that is going to survive what it is the person's talking about. So if someone explains a certain jujitsu technique and you're like, I've never heard anybody say that before, just like the guest we just had on, he has unique ways of coaching jujitsu. If somebody like that comes along and they kind of come out of nowhere, then you have to ask yourself, okay, who else does this practice? Oh, wait a second, there's a bunch of other guys that do this practice and it seems to work pretty good for them. Oh, wait a second, he's a black belt, seems to be working pretty good for him. So now you're starting to get a body of work where you're like, maybe this guy does have some good points. So you're seeing people like Gary Brecka and Liver King and some of these, I'm not trying to compare those two necessarily. You're seeing people that seemingly are coming out of nowhere and they're getting very popular. And so I think that right there should be something where you're like, wait a second, I want to think about this more. What is this information this person's giving me? Do I actually have a problem with methylating B vitamins? Is that actually a concern for anyone? Have I ever heard anyone ever talk about it before? And has he been able to actually help people before? And then you start to dig around and, you find out that these people have had success with themselves and some other people. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe this is a valid. That's how I kind of do it usually.
Cool. First off, I want to say that you guys are awesome. The likes just boosted up. You guys are fucking great. Okay.
You did threaten them.
Why are you saying I threatened them, bro?
You're very muscular.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I threaten them?
I think you did.
Did I threaten them?
It's the shoulders.
You know what's funny? When it comes to validating information, I think when it comes to something like the supplement stuff can be really janky because people will make wild claims about a lot of supplements. But you could always, if you take the time, you could go to examine.com, because examine.com has all of these supplements listed along with actually showing, okay, what has it been researched to do? Like, does this meet up with what everybody's saying about it? And this is another thing, like you got to realize, like sometimes research hasn't caught up to what people are currently seeing. So you can't always trust on studies, but for supplements, it's something I think is worth the check out. Now, when it comes to physical things, when I'm paying attention to people, I look at, okay, have they been doing this thing for a while? And what does their work show for themselves, right? So it's like, if I'm looking at somebody who's talking about mobility and strength, but they don't move well, right? Then I'm like, well, am I going to pay attention to what they're doing? Because I can't see what these results show. And this isn't all the cases, but when I'm looking to actually try to develop something, I want to see what has it actually what has it done for you? Right. I think
John Danaher is a great example. John Danaher struggles to maybe do some of the movements that he's been teaching for a long time, but then he has a pedigree of the most amazing jiu-jitsu team anyone's ever seen before. So it's like,
and John can also show it though.
Oh yeah,
like
I'm sure he can fucking destroy people. I'm sure. It's just an interesting thing. So I agree with what you're saying. It's like, go a couple layers deep on somebody, and when you see like, oh man, that guy doesn't really move the way that I would like to move, even though he's teaching the stretching technique. That's kind of cool. Oh, wait a second, but he works with 7 people that do gymnastics, and they do this and they do that. Now it's like, okay, now I see a body of work where this stuff is working for some of the people he's working with.
And like paying attention to like maybe how long somebody has been doing something, right? Because like when it comes to like the gym and getting big, you'll see a lot of young guys on TikTok, they'll just start making stuff. And some content is good, but it's like, yeah, they have an impressive physique, but is it because they've been doing their chest presses in this specific way? Or is it just because they have great genetics for this? That's why, like, when it comes to stuff like that, I look at who's been doing this for a while and what are their practices. And then we come to an individual like Mike O'Hearn, who's 50-something years old and moves pretty well, has great range of motion. People say he's been on drugs and shit, but he's one of the people who's been in the game for the longest amount of time, and he still looks really good. He doesn't look unhealthy. So there's certain things you can take from what he does. It doesn't mean that you need to take everything and everything he says as being gospel, but if you look at the way the guy trains, there are some trending things that you can be like, okay, he does these movements that you don't see many people do. He does these ranges of motion that you don't see many people go into, but then he also has this really good movement ability with many of these movements that most people don't have. I wonder why that is. It might be because of the way he actually practices what he talks about.
We have been sharing a little bit of on the show more recently as like a segment. We've been talking about certain guests that we've had on, or people that we admire and people that we think you should follow. You should follow this guy. Remember this guy?
Bill Maeda. Follow Bill Maeda.
Yeah, check out Bill Maeda. If you can bring up his latest clip, Andrew, of him using a kettlebell in his teeth, holding it with a towel. This is a wild image. This is a wild exercise that he's doing. But people like that, a friend of mine, Mike Ryan, these are people that, like, when you look at what they're doing and you look at the physique and you look at the age, I think Bill's in his 50s, right?
He's mid-50s, I believe.
And he's able to do like fucking like martial arts. He's able to sprint well. He's able to do all kinds. He moves well.
Dude,
what's that, a 70 pound?
Pounds. And look how lean he is.
He looked like he was about to ready to die there at the end.
I like that he showed that it was like difficult, you know?
Yeah.
But if you also pay attention to the way Bill Maeda lifts, man, like he does a lot of unconventional things, but just look at the way his body moves through these ranges in his mid-50s.
Dude, that's a crazy movement, but oddly enough, I would say he's doing it like in a safe, as gentle as you can way. You know what I mean? Like most of the movements and most of the stuff I see him do
slow
are like that. Yeah. So, okay, that looks very dangerous. He has to have a tremendous amount of balance. But this isn't his first day working out. He's been working out for a very long time. And look at how slow and controlled he'll go.
Bill's a great example of that. I did want to mention something interesting to you.
Jesus Christ.
And we can keep diving on Bill's stuff, but you remember what she mentioned about Greg Saunders, the guy who we just had on? Greg Saunders, I'll give you guys a quick summary and I'll keep this short, but he's a jiu-jitsu instructor that teaches jiu-jitsu in a slightly different, very different way than many instructors. Many instructors will show a movement and have people do the exact movement. Greg will give his students an intention, like do what you can to get this person's knee to the ground. The students will figure out ways to do that, right? And it's like they come up with a lot of creativity while doing those things. But the interesting thing is I went to spar the next day. I went to class the next day. And instead of thinking in my head and just doing the things I knew how to do, I instead said, okay, my intent is to get both of this person's shoulders on the ground when I'm passing. And what ended up happening is I started doing different things outside of my normal pattern of knee cut pass, do this, because and I've realized the way that I do things is just it's what I've learned, what I've seen, and I do. But I don't think of why am I doing this? Why am I knee cutting like this? I'm just knee cutting currently. I'm knee cutting because I've been taught to knee cut. I'm not knee cutting because I understand that I want to get both of their shoulders on the ground. I want to flatten their hips and then I want to pass. But when I thought of the intent of the movement, I started to be more creative with what I was doing. So literally, when you change your thought process about how you do something in jiu-jitsu and you understand why you're doing it, you then open up pathways for you to do things in a different way than you've already been doing to achieve the same outcome. That was mind-blowing for me. So now I'm going back into all the things I know how to do in jiu-jitsu, like arm bar, triangle, all these things, and setting up all these positions. And instead, I'm not just thinking of this is the way you do this move. I'm thinking of why are you doing this move? What are you doing to their body? And that's going to open up different ways for me to achieve the same outcome. It's pretty crazy.
I love that. I mean, think about people are always thoroughly confused about training lats, right? For some reason, that's always like a topic. Like people have a hard time feeling their lats. It takes a long time to learn these things. But if you're to tell someone from day one, all of the movements that you're doing that involve pulling, all you're really ultimately trying to do is you're trying to tax or send a message to the back, the muscles of the back. All the muscles under your armpit and all the muscles that I can't see when I see you from the front, all those muscles in your upper body, those are the muscles that you're trying to get to. And so when you do a seated row and when you do a lat pull down, when you do a pull up, doesn't matter what movement it is, you should be able to feel some tension. You should be able to feel some stress in those areas.
Yeah.
And you just leave it there and then they'll discover, they'll come back to you and say, hey, you know what? I noticed I felt it in the back more when I held it at the top, when I paused it. You're like, yeah, that's a pause. That's great. That's really cool. Oh, when I went slower and I did full range, I felt more of a stretch. Oh, where'd you feel it? Oh, kind of underneath the arm and kind of like in my back. You're like, there you go. We got it. We're there.
And last thing, think about something like, again, intention. Think about something like the Jefferson curl, which many people will say is unsafe for the back, right? But what is our intention when we're doing a Jefferson curl? It's to improve our spine's ability to round with load and come out of that position with load, right? So if you think about that, like you should have the ability to round your spine down and up. Your spine shouldn't be super stiff. You should have the ability to create a stiff spine, but then also to create a spine that can move. And when you think about it that way, it doesn't seem so unsafe. And you can obviously load it safely and load it slowly to progress that movement. But many people look at something like that and they're like, that's bad for the back. No, it's not bad for the back.
I love this line of thinking. I think you can kind of apply it to just about anything. But when I think about some of the stuff that Greg was saying, I can't help but think about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Joe Montana, fucking Tom Brady. Like anytime these guys were asked questions about very specific things, they looked at it so much differently than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they came to that or where it came from. I don't know if they had a coach that was like Greg or if they just happened to kind of stumble upon that with some sort of intuition or gut instinct. But thinking about what you're saying about like that movement of the spine and executing that on the Jefferson curl, I think that when I hit a squat when I was competing, I think my view of it was maybe different than what other people might think that I was trying to do. I remember particularly in the squat, I would unrack it and I was just like, I'm totally safe and I'll have a chance, I'll have an opportunity to squat this weight every single time if I simply just don't move. If I don't move my upper body, if I keep my upper body in this fucking position, it's game over. My legs are strong enough. My lower back is strong enough. But if I tilt forward, or if there's rounding in the spine, or if there's flexion or overextension, I'm fucking toast because these weights are fucking heavy.
And you successfully built that. You successfully did that, right?
So now where I can't move, I'm a little bucket. I'm a little bucket of concrete.
But you're working at. You're working through it.
Working on it.
Just one really quick last thing. Is like as long as it's not too taxing on the body, if it's like a physical thing about like trying to like kind of like see if somebody's legit or not, just try it, because you're gonna find somebody saying something negative about everybody, and you're gonna find a study that's gonna counter the study that you found that's gonna be positive. So again, as long as it's not too taxing on whatever it is that you're trying to figure out, just try it for yourself, and then maybe then go searching for other answers.
And if you do, you'll need to probably try it for a little bit of time, and also you'll probably need to regress what you saw. Well, the reason why I say that, and we'll get to the next question, guys. The reason why I say that is because you think of something like a seated good morning, and I've seen videos recently of some people getting injured doing a seated good morning. But the thing is you can regress that movement. You don't have to do some people might not be able to visualize this, but a seated good morning's when you're like sitting on a bench, you have a barbell on your back, and you're going down to the bench and you're coming up, right? But if you are working on an incline bench and you just bring the incline bench up and you limit the range of motion that you go down, you can work safely through that range, and then over time you can get lower and lower and lower. Like one of the reasons why a lot of these movements don't work for a lot of people is because we bite off the end first. We go to the hardest version of it first. Our bodies can't do it, or we're too weak, and then we're like, this probably isn't good for me, or this probably isn't safe, or I'm probably not made to do this. Whereas there's always a regressive aspect of something that you can do to progress to what that harder movement looks like.
Yeah, I think that we just think inherently that if things don't feel sketchy, that they're not going to work great. But they shouldn't really feel sketchy, especially if they're new. They shouldn't feel sketchy at all.
Yeah. Power Project family, foot health is something that we talk about all the time on the podcast, and that's why we love Vivo Barefoot shoes. But we love them not just because they are flat, flexible, and wide, but also they don't look bad. They look actually really, really good. These are their new boots. These are their Modus trainers for in the gym. These are some of their casual shoes. But when you look at a lot of Barefoot shoes, some people get turned off because they don't want to wear those shoes outside. And that's understandable. That's very understandable. But with Vivo, these shoes look so good, and they're so good for your feet that they're almost a no-brainer. So, well, they are a no-brainer. Andrew, how can they get some of these kicks?
Yes, you guys got to head over to vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and you guys will receive 15% off your order. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
All right, Jordan Broadhead. I can't help but think of like a dickhead when I hear that name. That's because we're all a little gay, right? How do you guys find a balance between just going for it and training?
A little.
What do you?
Broadhead.
Broadhead.
We're not going to be able to get past that. Sorry.
Also, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Is that your name, Doc? Because honestly, it's a good name.
Well, someone saw his dick and they're like, Broadhead.
Yeah.
That was like the family name since the 1600s.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
dubbed thee Broadhead.
Yeah. And then everybody else was like, yep.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan Broadhead.
Yeah, because they wouldn't want to be narrowhead.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no.
That's a different family.
Yeah.
Or Pencilhead. Right?
That's not great.
Nah, it's not Broadhead. It's a strong last name.
Girthy.
How do you guys find a balance between just going for it and training really sports specific, and also wanting to feel like a healthy human who's pretty athletic and can do other things as well? Wow, that's a broad question. From a broad-headed motherfucker.
Broadly stated, I think, well, I think, within the confines of, again, going back to some of the stuff that Greg said, like if you put stuff into, you don't want to like box yourself in and be closed off to like being able to have a lot of creativity. However, if you box up an idea and give yourself at least an intent, I think that you can end up with really great results. So if you want to have a good workout, you want to feel a little bit like a bro, you want to feel strong, but you also want to feel athletic, maybe you, pick one of your favorite exercises. Maybe you love deadlifting. And so the workout starts out with some deadlifting. Hit some deadlifting. Maybe after the deadlift, maybe you do some box jumps. Maybe after that, you want to do a little cardiovascular stuff. So you hit some sprints on the Aerodyne bike, and then you throw some med balls around and like that's a great workout. And you can push yourself really hard on that. Like you know, if the safest place to push yourself the hardest would probably be on the Aerodyne bike. You could hurt yourself doing just about anything, but that's an area where I've seen a lot of people do sprints on there. And I've seen way more people hurt themselves going outside and doing a sprint. And I've seen way more people hurt themselves by trying a heavy deadlift than I've seen on like the Aerodyne bike. So if you pick the appropriate tool, the appropriate exercise, you can get a fuck ton out of it. And you can really balance that line of where you're working really hard. For myself and my own workouts, that's the way a lot of them are structured. If I'm going to work harder or have like a pretty good or strong intensity on something, it might be like a bodybuilding movement. But aside from like bodybuilding and just getting like blood to an area, it's going to be probably on the sled, because like I'm not going to hurt myself on the sled. I'm going to get great movement from it. It's really good for the cardiovascular. It helps with my running. I think it also is just helping me with movement pattern and my gait and stuff in general too.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned going for it and training really sport specific. Obviously, it depends on what your sport is. Like for example, Mark, when you were a powerlifter, you just mentioned your intent when squatting is to not let that back move. Right. So if you were doing a lot of like the stuff we're doing now, like maybe you could have done some loaded. You probably already did. You did some loaded like rotation.
Yeah,
stuff
I was
like
still
that.
doing the sled and stuff like that. I was doing some stuff like that, but not a lot of rotational stuff. Not a lot of things that would encourage more mobility than what was needed for powerlifting at the time. But I could have done it.
Exactly, you could have. So that's something to think of. Like even if your intent for your sport is to, for example, powerlifting, do not move that spine when working with load. You can do some things that so your spine still has the ability to move. But one thing I think is like, we talk about it a lot, is the idea of microdosing things. And there's a jiu-jitsu program that I'm putting out that the idea of microdosing is baked into the program. So for example, I want people to sit on the floor daily, whether they're doing a little bit of work or they're at home chilling. Just find a way to sit on the floor, because when you sit on the floor, naturally your body's going to move into different positions. Right. And if you're not grappling every single day, and the only times you get into those grappling positions is when you get on the mat, then your body could be missing out on some ability to get better at accessing those ranges. So you can passively sit on the floor while doing other things. The same thing with like jumping and jumping rope. Instead of having jumping as part of your direct workout, maybe grab a jump rope and each day maybe just try to jump for 1 to 2 or 3 minutes, because the effect of that jumping that's going to have on your feet, and also your ability to maintain the ability to jump, is going to go a long way. But it doesn't need to be a big part of your workout. So the thing is like, can you figure out ways to like have small bouts of these other things, these other abilities that you want to have? Can you add that into small parts of your day outside of your workout in the gym? You probably can. And those little microdoses will add up over time into having the ability to jump, having the ability to be a little bit more mobile and flexible, even potentially having the ability to like hop into a jog or a light sprint, because that doesn't have to be a thick workout. It could just be something that you do once or twice a day, randomly here and there. But then your body now has the ability to do it, and it's not something that you have to structure into your training routine in a very rigid fashion.
Yeah, throughout your day, there's definitely places where you can kind of microdose exercise into your life. But even within exercise itself, you can microdose stuff in. So there's really no reason why in between doing some sets of like bench press and some pull-ups, why you wouldn't be able to do some like tib work, or why you wouldn't be able to do some neck work. There's no reason why if you're on a walk that you can't occasionally just jog or pick up the pace or stretch on a bench, or just get some extra movement in rather than you just walking. When I'm running, when I'm feeling good on a run, I love to move around a lot. Like I'm like, okay, well, I'm just jogging, forward aimlessly forever. Let me just cut this way and let me run. I'm going to run towards that tree for a few minutes. I'm going to run that way. I'll jump up on curbs. I'll jump up on benches. It's a little bit of like smelly parkour, and it feels good, and it's a lot of fun. I'll also run backwards. I'll run sideways. I'll do the movement you do in football, where you're trying to do like butt kicks and you're doing high knees, and you just mix it all up during the run. And some people, some people that run, I think they're scared to do stuff like that because it takes them off of their workout. But I'm not trying to do anything real crazy with running. So I want to have fun with it. I want to be able to do it for a long time. And I love the fitness of it. And I love the mental side of it.
Nice. All right. Now, this is a strength question
Uh-oh.
from Chris Q. Remember, guys, if you want to win, make sure if we pull your name out, you got to be part of the Discord. You got to message me on Discord, okay? So, Chris Q, what kind of set should I be doing to build strength towards my PRs? I PR'd at a 235-pound 1-rep max squat, but it was tough. Should I just be doing 5 sets of 5 at 225 squat, or should I go even lower? You think you answered your question, bro.
Yeah, it sounds heavy compared to the weight that you handle for 1 rep max.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, people have when people are newer with lifting, they have something that's called like a neurological inefficiency, and so sometimes those numbers are a lot closer to each other. Your 1 rep max in regards to something that you can do for 3 reps or for 5 reps. You know, so for example, someone that squats 500 pounds. It'd be very hard for them to move 490 around for 5 reps. You know, it would probably feel like it's going to kill them. So I would definitely suggest using lighter weight because you can get better form. 531, I think, is a great program. Jim Wendler, and he talks in the book so much over and over again. He keeps mentioning he wants you to use even less weight than what he suggests in the book. But I don't know if anyone ever really got that message. But he wants your 5 reps to look flawless. If you can remember this is a good guide and good gauge for you to have basically forever with your lifting. Your last rep should look a lot like your first rep. The last repetition of your last set should look like the first repetition of your first set.
Yes.
Within reason, you know. Okay, yeah, you can go for a little bit. There can be a little shimmer or shake. You can have a little bit of dysfunction in there, but that's kind of the goal. And remember before we were talking about intent. That's your intent. When someone says do 3 sets of 10, the intent isn't to just annihilate the muscle. The intent isn't just to get blood to the muscles. The intent isn't just the pump. The intent is, can you execute 3 sets of 10 with 1 minute rest in between and have all 30 reps from rep 1 all the way through rep 29 and rep 30 be as clean as possible. So with strength training, that's something that people tend to forget. In this guy's case, I would suggest that maybe do like sets of 6 for a little while and just forget about your 1 rep max for a little while. And I would say use 185 pounds. You know, without seeing you lift, I would say use approximately 185 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Move that around a bunch. Week 1, do like 3 sets of 6. Week 2, add another set. Week 3, add another set. Get yourself to be able to handle like 4 or 5 sets of 6 reps. That would be a really awesome start. From there, you can start to lower the repetitions. You can start to do sets of 5 1 week, and then the next week you can lower it to 4. The next week you can lower it to 3, and the next week you can lower it to 2, and then you can maybe try a new 1 rep max. But at that point, your 1 rep max will probably be like a good 15, 20 pounds stronger.
That and the way at which you lift these weights. One thing I notice with a lot of new strength athletes is speed is the goal. So, you see experienced lifters squat down and their squat looks so fast and quick, and then you try to emulate a fast and quick squat, but you don't have the mechanics to be able to control every aspect of that squat with speed. So you might think, well, if I want to train speed, why don't I just go fast? But if you want to get better at controlling that load through space and also figuring out the parts of the movement where you might be weak, it's a good idea to slow the movement down. So this might be a good place where you can implement a little bit of tempo. So it could be that you go 3 seconds down, you hold that bottom, and then you even control the tempo up rather than blasting out of the bottom of that squat. And what you're going to notice is you'll see oh shit, when I get to this phase of my squat, there's a little bit of weakness there for some reason. Now when you're working that pace, you can get better at working through that range of motion. And you'll find if you slow it down, you might have to lighten the load, but doing that over time will help you become much stronger. That's been something that has helped me get through multiple strength plateaus in the past.
Get a lot stronger. You'll get stronger faster and with lighter weight and with less risk of injury.
All right. Quick question from Hernan Martinez. And right now we're at 60 likes. We got 85 people in here. Could we get it up to 80? since there's 85 people in here, I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right? So we'll keep answering your questions. We'll keep helping y'all out, but maybe help us out. Thank you. All right, Hernan, thoughts on milk. So many kinds, but no one ever talks about it. I like that question.
I like that too. Like their store has like so much milk. There's regular milk. There's fucking goat milk. There's low fat skim milk. There's almond milk.
A2 milk.
You know what I've been getting from Sprouts? They have this like strawberry milk, and they have this chocolate milk. I've been loving those.
Chocolate.
Are they like? Are they super thick too?
Are they super thick? I got to look at the brand because the brand has cow on it, so it's healthy. Healthy.
It's got a healthy little cow on there.
Yeah. I got to find the brand though.
Little chubby cow.
Yeah, I think I would say most of the people that you follow or watch on social media platforms that have physiques that you might have a goal to acquire. Most of those people don't drink a lot of milk. It doesn't mean you can't have some milk. I'd say probably a lot of those people might use milk in stuff here and there, like in a coffee and stuff like that. Might use it in a protein shake, things of that nature. But like you start to talk about like aesthetic athletes, people that are getting on a stage, it's very rare for any of those people to have milk. That doesn't mean you can't have milk, but if that's kind of where the question is coming from, if you're trying to lose body fat and you really have struggled with it, I would try to limit milk. I would try to limit dairy in general, milk and cheese and stuff. It's just so easy to overeat it, and it makes overeating other stuff even more fun. So I would just have some caution towards it. But I think milk's fucking awesome. On the other end, if you're trying to get big and strong, I think milk is absolutely unbelievable. And keep in mind that milk is the only food source that you'll find in nature that has fat, carbs, and protein, has fat and carbs together. And you think about it from the perspective of like when you're a baby, that's the perfect thing to fatten you up is milk. So
mama's milk.
Just be thoughtful about it.
There was a guy, this client I used to train when I was younger. His name was Dylan. I ain't gonna put his last name out there, but we started working together. And in our first thing, he was like, "Yeah, I drink a gallon of milk every day." And then I was like, "Wait, what? You drink what?" He's like, "Yeah, I drink a gallon of milk a day." I'm like, "How?" Because this wasn't just like your 2%. This man drank a gallon of whole fat, whole milk. He's like, "It's just something I did from a kid," and it's just I feel like white people love milk. Like I feel like it's a thing. Like because I met a lot of white
people
guys
like white things.
No, I met a lot of white guys who like the gallon of milk thing a day is a thing, and I'm like, wow, like that is, and even like milk at just a glass of milk, just straight milk at breakfast.
Yeah,
it's so interesting to me.
Breakfast,
I've never been
breakfast is a little bit more common, but I remember in junior high, like when I started like having like friends that I'd go to like to their house for dinner and stuff.
Yeah,
it threw me off that it was like something savory, like I'll just say like fried chicken or something,
and milk,
and they served me a glass of milk, and I'm like. Like this is weird. Like,
it's different.
Yeah,
and we're not roasting y'all
they
either.
were a white family. I had never experienced that before.
Me neither. And we're not roasting y'all. It's just an interesting cultural difference.
It's weird.
But a hack for the milk thing, dude, is I just like using some milk and protein shakes. So I'll buy this strawberry milk and this chocolate milk, and I'll use some of it when I make my protein along with water, along with the 2 scoops of protein. Because it adds a little shebang and it's not crazy on the calories, but it gives me a little bit of oomph to my protein shake.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of cashew milk from the Silk brand. It doesn't have really anything weird in it. Like if you look at like oat milk or whatever, it has like just a freaking laundry list of ingredients. Cashew milk, it just has like fake cashews maybe. I don't know if they're real or not, but it's 25 calories per 8-ounce serving. And it's really thick, so it makes your protein shakes really thick and it makes it really delicious. Yeah,
thickens them up a little bit.
Thickies,
huh? Yeah. If you're real, if you are way into the seed oils and all that stuff, and way into, stuff having like a bunch of other crap in it, then most of those milks suck.
Yeah,
but that's only if you care about that shit. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, and then if you look at like an almond milk carton, it'll say like it has like 3 almonds. So you're like, wait, what the fuck? How did you make this then?
You're like, what else is in here?
Yeah.
From Jorge or George Emery, if I don't sweat, should I limit my salt intake? I'm low carb, and mainly carbs come from fruit.
He doesn't sweat.
You don't sweat, so I mean, I'm assuming maybe he doesn't even sweat during vigorous exercise. I mean, what do you? If
I
you
go by feel. Like if you feel drained and tired from workouts, or you get headaches and stuff, then I think it's pretty obvious you might need more electrolytes. But if you feel good, then I wouldn't sweat it too much.
try an electrolyte supplement with your workout and see if you feel better, because electrolytes are one of those things that you feel the difference. That's why we don't forget to take electrolytes, because like we noticeably feel better and more hydrated when we use them, right? But if you take your electrolytes and then you go and you do your exercise and you do it for a few days and you feel literally no difference, right? Then maybe it's just not that necessary for you and you're just not expelling. But maybe one thing you might find out is you start taking electrolytes and you start sweating more. This is a good thing, because that happens to some people sometimes. So something to take into account.
You want to hop into our topic? Or do you think we should just keep cruising on this?
There's a lot
I think we
of good
just keep
questions.
cruising on questions.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We'll save it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is a good one. Joshua Samuel. Over time, my T levels tanked with IF. I have went back and forth with the intermittent fasting along with blood work over the years to confirm this is my issue. Do you guys do IF? Heard of this issue with IF?
I think that when people are in a caloric deficit for long periods of time, that is definitely something that can happen. If people aren't paying attention to how much fat they're consuming, it can really wreak havoc on the hormones. So those would be two things I would really, have some concern over. Dietary cholesterol is important. It's a building block of testosterone. So if someone does intermittent fasting and they don't have a huge appetite and they eat like once or twice a day, and they're not really getting much cholesterol in there and not getting much fat, in particular saturated fat, your testosterone levels are probably going to just completely tank.
Yeah, you killed that pretty much. One thing to think about is think about your habits when you fast. Because like you said, if you start doing intermittent fasting and then you also start eating just such a low amount of food, that's not going to be good for your hormones. That's why I still utilize fasting. But when I eat, I fucking eat. I eat the amount of food that I need to eat to be able to perform. So my T levels are still great. And there have been times where we took fasting too far, where it's like I literally felt super fatigued. And it was because I would fast for like 16 hours or 20 hours, but then I wouldn't eat as much as I needed to, and I'd feel it the next day. So I was like, okay, I can still fast for that amount of time, but just assure that when I eat enough. And the fats, like you said, are huge. If you limit those fats and you're eating a low amount of fat, especially as a dude, that'll fuck up your test. Or I won't say fuck up your test. Your test will be lower. So make sure you get in enough fat, because that makes a big difference.
Yeah, your diet can definitely have a huge negative impact on your hormones, just like somebody that's eating, haphazardly and they're not on a nutritional protocol. They could end up with, higher estrogen levels and higher cortisol levels and so on.
Cool. We're almost at 80 likes. I think we can just get to 100. If you're here, give us a quick thumbs up. It takes literally less than a second. And also, if you're here, we're going to get to the next question. On the audio side of things, don't leave here. We're still going to keep answering your questions and helping y'all out. But it helps the podcast out when we get ratings on like Spotify and Apple, right? And the podcast has been growing. But if you listen on audio and you can leave us a quick review, hey, we love you, but we'll love you forever, and we'll still love you forever. But just hey, it helps the pod. So if you can on audio or on Apple or Spotify, give us a rating. It helps. Giovanni. Hey guys, I keep hurting my fingers during jiu-jitsu. Seems to be more in the gi. They get caught with grips. Any advice? My suggestion would be, and this is another microdose that I have programmed in for people, but see if you can get yourself like these finger extensors on Amazon. Do that again. Get yourself these finger extensors on Amazon. This is another microdose that helps the hands get stronger over time without having to program in grip work. But the finger extensors are going to be helpful. And then if you can also get yourself just some grippers, because I keep these kinds of things in my little
man bag.
It's my man purse. It's my man purse. It's my merce. I keep these things. This is called Pro Hands. It's also from Amazon. But this, I can literally like press down with my fingers. I can squeeze it with my hands. And this is super helpful at helping the hands get stronger over time. And it's something that, like, if you're sitting at an office desk and you're doing some stuff, you can pull it out. You can pull out your finger extensors. And if you're reading, if you're chilling in front of the TV, you can literally just be doing this type of stuff. But over time, the little bit of this stuff each day adds up to the hands becoming stronger and more durable and more resilient, because especially in grappling and especially in the gi, you're doing so much grabbing of that fabric that if you're someone who only does it 3 times a week, and then the only time you do grabbing or you use your hands in that way is those 3 times a week, shit, you shouldn't be surprised that you end up getting all these hand injuries. But if you can just have something that you do each day for your hands, get into extension, grip, do that, my hands have become way more durable over time. I haven't had, because actually I tore the tendon in this pinky years ago, but I haven't, like, this stuff has really helped. And I do it a little bit every single day. So that would be my suggestion.
Combination of like squeezing, right? Like if someone who doesn't usually squeeze much, if you just squeeze your hands real hard and push on your fingernails real hard, that might be uncomfortable for some people. And if you're someone that does jujitsu, you probably don't feel that pain anymore because you're probably used to grabbing like that. So it's weird. It's a combination, right, of you pressing your own nails into your own skin, your own tissue. And then you're also grabbing something that is meant to be grabbed. And then there's also the raking effect of like the back of the knuckles, right, that you guys have to deal with. And then on top of that, you're trying to grab someone that doesn't want you to grab them. And so they're twisting or turning a certain way. So now your fingers are getting all, twisted and turned around, right?
Yes. And let me add in a technique for you. And this is something that I've started doing over time. I started doing this years ago. But one thing, when you're playing with the gi and you're doing gi jujitsu, when you start working with more experienced people, you're going to notice that they break grips, right? So there's going to come a time where you start to anticipate that. And the thing is if you're death gripping something and someone goes to break the grip and you death grip and they break the grip against your fingers, that can hurt. So anticipate the grip break. So, right, grip, make them waste their energy. They go for the grip break, let go and grab another grip. Right once they grip break, let it go. Because they're wasting their energy to break that grip and you're just kind of letting it go and then grabbing something else. And your hands aren't getting that level of like stress from the constant grip breaking going on. So your grip, like, grab their lapel, pull around, they grip break, let it go and grab another grip. So now your fingers aren't getting all beat up and they're wasting their energy breaking all these grips. So something to think about, especially if you're a beginner.
Yeah, and that goes along the lines of what I was going to say, is just you'll become more efficient at it. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but I just know when I first started, a grip that had like I wasn't in danger of losing the grip. The other person wasn't in danger because of my grip, but I still death gripped everything just because I'm like, oh, I got something. Let me, And now I've learned that like you don't have to do that all the time. So like that really, really helps.
Yeah. Look into my eyes. Now I know that you want to be looking better. You want to be walking the streets being like, damn, I look and feel good. Because then everyone's going to be looking at you. That's why we've partnered with Viore Clothing. So you can stop wearing your ripped up tank and your long shorts and step your athleisure game up. Viore has clothes that you can wear to dinner with a date, or you can wear it in the gym. Personally, some of our favorites are the Ponto Performance line, and it has this dream knit fabric, trademarked, that literally feels like baby skin on your skin. It sounds kind of weird, but when you put it on and feel it, my God, that will change your life. Right here, this is the Boulevard shirt jacket. You guys are always wondering what kind of long sleeves we're wearing. It stretches, it feels good. Oh, Andrew, where can they step their game up?
Absolutely. You guys got to head over to viore.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project, and you'll automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Okay, so Thomas Fair. My leg day program is always back squats followed by front squats. By the time I get to front squats, I'm shaking in the knees. Am I just being a bitch and need to build up the capacity?
There's some things that are hard to build yourself up for or to, and sometimes there's not a good reason to worry about it. So as an example, it was very, very difficult for me to deadlift and squat in the same training session. And I tried it a bunch of different ways, and the only thing I could ever manage was I was able to deadlift after I squatted, but only light and only for accessory work. But if I deadlifted first, I couldn't figure out how to squat. It like literally hurt. which is weird because neither one of those lifts hurt individually. But if I deadlifted first and went to squat, I'd feel my knees, I'd feel my back, my core felt weird. It just wiped me out. So I don't know if there's a reason to really worry too much about building up a tolerance to that. I would just maybe switch the order of the exercises.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing because you mentioned like deadlifts would be fatiguing for you, but for me, deadlifts were not fatiguing at all. Like I could do, and maybe it's because I'm a bitch and did sumo, but I could sumo deadlift 3 times a week, right? So when it came to hard workouts, and if I had to do 2 lifts, you know, I would do these. I would like do my harder thing first, right? So if it was going to be like a bench and squat or squat and deadlift, I would squat first because I knew I can handle the strain from deadlifts. Right. It's not going to kill me, right? So that's something to think about too. And yeah, that's something.
Yeah, maybe put your front squats first if you want to prioritize them, or just pick a week where you're mainly focused on front squats, and then the next week you're mainly focused on your back squat.
Yeah, it reminds me of like when I first started working out, I would have something like RDLs, deadlifts, bent over rows, 45-degree back raises, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all my lifts are getting so much weaker. And it's like, oh, well, because you're just fucking annihilating your back and, you know, all these muscles in the same time. So nowadays, I just like doing a non-opposing muscle groups in a workout. So I'll do literally a push-pull. Like I'll work chest and then I'll work back, like, you know, simultaneously. So that way you don't get too fatigued doing the same thing over and over and over and questioning, like he is like, dude, my knees are shaking. Like that sucks. So it's like, imagine if you had, you know, everything in your reserve for those front squats versus, you know, being shot.
And this is the last thing I'll mention on this. If you do choose to do back squats and front squats on the same day and you're noticing a lot of fatigue, maybe, and I don't know if this is your case, but whatever your first squat is, that should be the harder squat. And then if you do front squats second, you'll lower the intensity and you just go through the range of motion for the movement, but it shouldn't be killing you. You should still be able to have pretty much perfect form on that movement. That's the way you're going to be able to progress it well, rather than potentially if you're going way too heavy and way too intense and the front squat form is shitty and it's just killing you. So that's something to think about there too. Mark. Oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking about some of the questions that we get just from an injury perspective, and it reminded me because of what Andrew said. Sometimes when people have like elbow issues and like elbow, wrist, bicep issues, shoulder issues, we just forget how much, especially when it comes to like the elbow, we just forget how much the elbow is involved with the act of lifting weights in any capacity, whether you're rowing or pulling or doing a push-up or trying to do a pull-up. Your hand, you know, is like your hand moves the weight usually in so many exercises. There's exceptions when you have the weight on your back and stuff like that, but your elbows are even involved and your biceps are even involved in a deadlift. And it's involved in like just about everything. So if you can, for anyone that has elbow issues, you got to try to think about how do I reduce the overall amount of work that this area is doing, at least for a little while, until it's not so inflamed. So you might have to take 2 or 3 weeks just to kind of just think in your head of you know, what are these workouts going to look like now? This is where it might be good to change your training up a little bit. Maybe you used to like to do a lot of sets and a lot of reps. Maybe you do less sets, less reps for anything that involves the elbow, and maybe you went from, I don't know, doing 100 sets per month that involve the elbow joint, and now maybe you cut it in half. And if you cut it in half, it's like, holy fuck, you should be able to get better, and you should be able to get rid of some of that pain.
Yep. Okay, Mark from Big Man on Campus. Now, I tore my pec back in July and had the surgery 3 months ago. I know Mark has torn his pec 3.5 times. Does he have any advice on returning to chest exercises? I'm finishing PT this month for it.
I do my chest work all the time. I did some this morning, and Nsima felt my pecs. I think it was yesterday.
I felt your pecs yesterday. They're nice, thick, and juicy.
Yeah. So, you know, you'll be able to get back to doing a lot of the exercises you love, especially the fact that you had a surgery. You're just gonna have to take your time. That's the main thing. You're gonna have to take your time. I don't know if you have a slingshot, but a slingshot might be a good idea to help you kind of handle some of those eccentrics and to kind of help you as you rehab. But take your time, take it easy. I found that eccentric work was really, really helpful. So, you know, start with the bar, start with really, really super duper light weights, and just maybe take 6 to 8 seconds on the way down with a lot of your lifts in the beginning. I wouldn't worry too much about concentric. You know, maybe you can have somebody assist you with the lift here and there, so that way you can really just mainly concentrate on some eccentric work. But eccentric work and isometric work was really, really important in helping me to rehab those areas.
Do you think there's anything important about like range of motion for like his pressing or push-ups and stuff? Would that be helpful or?
Yeah, I mean, you got to just take it fucking slow.
Oh yeah.
You know, after a surgery, you know, they did cut you open. They cut into some, you know, areas in your body. And so, just don't do any ranges of motion that aren't available. Don't do anything that's not available. And at some point you might have to work on, you know, pushing through some of that pain, but certainly not in the beginning. So, and give yourself, you know, think about like a time frame of when you want to start to be able to actually press again, and have it be, you know, reasonable. Say, hey, you know what, about a year from now, I'd like to be able to, I don't know, say your best bench is 315 and you want to get back to be, you know, within a year from now, I want to be able to bench 225 again. Something like that. Something really reasonable. It sucks, but that's just where you're at. It's just a blip in time, and over time, you should be able to come back, hopefully just as strong and maybe even stronger.
Nice. All right. Question from, this is interesting. Regener? Interesting. What do you guys like to eat before you go to a strength and a conditioning session to fuel up? Some strength conditioning sessions I do fast. If I know it's going to be a hard session, I'll have some, like, you know, those Bibigo white rice things. I'll have some of that, maybe with a little bit of eggs or whatever I have at home. Sometimes I will like have one of those Ollipops with it for some extra little bit of carbs if I know it's going to be a hard session. And yeah, I'll just have a bit of carbs beforehand.
Yeah, I'd say I'm about the same way. I have some carbs, you know, sometimes before and after workouts. Like coming from here today and then heading home, kind of depending on the time and everything. Sometimes I'll have like my carnivore crisps. I'll eat some of those. I'll eat something light, and then I'll go like hit my run. But for lifting sessions, it's almost always the same thing. I just always have the super smelly shake in the morning, which is just
the super smelly shake,
which is coffee, and then I put ice in it, so I make it an iced coffee, and I put the full carnivore steak shake in there, and I throw some creatine in there, and I throw some chocolate electrolytes in there, and bam, that's my super smelly shake. And then about an hour later or so, I'll probably lift, and then like today, I lifted, and then I had some EAAs and some carbs during the training session. And I've been doing stuff like that for a long time, and that's what feels good for me. I do agree with Nsima, though. Like, you know, if it's going to be like a harder session, or if it's like at a certain time of day, I would rather have like lean, some source of lean meat or lean protein and some carbohydrates.
All right. Now, I'm sorry if I skipped a few questions because I went to the bottom. There's a lot of fucking questions, guys. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them, but we're going to try to get to a lot of these. So, Regundi. Is 5 days a week too much for a beginner? I understand it may depend on goals, but I hear some channels like Renaissance Periodization Strength arguing to lift as little as possible if you're getting sore versus Jeff Nippert. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's an interesting thing because, you know, you can do whatever the fuck you want, really, and get some really amazing and great results. You know, the answer I give you today would be different than the answer I give you tomorrow, and so on, just because this topic changes for me quite a bit. But I would say that I would say you should be able to get great results out of lifting weights 3 to 4 times a week. I would also say that most people that enjoy lifting weights, they like it a lot, and they want to lift more. I'd also say that you can lift every day. I've done that before. I did that for like probably a few years where I just literally lifted every day in some capacity. Now, like, you know, sometimes it was cheap. I would just go in and do like one movement for one body part or something, but I did you know, get some sort of lift in there. I would say, look, if you're not making good progress and you are looking for something new and something different, and you've been lifting frequently for a long time, try to cut back to 3 or 4 times a week. You'll be shocked at how well it will work for you, just because you haven't done it, not because it's necessarily better. But for a lot of people, it might be refreshing, it might be new. And then again, you know, on the other side of this is always, most people are trying to lose body fat, and everyone's out there chasing like body fat percentages. A lot of people are trying to lose weight, and your energy, you can't make something out of nothing. And so you're trying to bundle up this energy to work out 5-6 days a week, and it's just not really there. The conclusion I came to more recently was that no matter how good somebody is at something, it's really rare for someone to have workouts that are awesome 3 or 4 times a week. So even at 6 times a week and 7 times a week, if that you work out, maybe only half of those are going to be a good workout, or a workout that you consider to be good or awesome, or whatever the words are that we'd use with it. So my challenge to you would be, see if you can increase your accuracy with that.
So Segundo, you're following a program, which is dope. Another strategy here is this. The thing is you got to think like some people like to work out more times a week because maybe there's not other things that you're doing, right? So on those other days, maybe you don't have any other thing that you'd like to do physically and you want to hit the gym. And with that being said, you got to realize that you got a battery, dog, right? So if like, you know, 3 of those days you're able to go super hard, but you notice that your energy on the other days of your workouts, those other 2 days feel like crap, maybe what you got to do is you maybe need to taper off a little bit of the volume on a little bit of each day of your workouts, right? So that every day ends up being, you can push pretty hard every single day. Another thing that you could do is if you wanted to have 3 days where you're training pretty hard, or 4 days where you're training pretty hard, you could have your other day where you go into the gym be a day where it's like you're going in and you're getting a pump, right? Not everything is super close to failure, because the thing is if we're trying to grow, then we do need to be training close to and sometimes to failure, but not every single day. We don't have the energy to do that every single day of the week. That means that certain sessions can be, I'm just trying to get a pump. I'm trying to work through different ranges of motion. I'm trying to develop movement ability, and I'm not going to failure. Or maybe I'm going even 4 to 5 reps shy of failure since I'm going through the motions, because this is the thing. When you train like that, those days can actually aid in recovery because you're getting blood flow to those tissues that you worked out, right? So if you did a hard leg day at the beginning of the week, maybe in the other leg day that you do is just you go in and you go through full ranges of motion, you take it slow, but the blood you're driving to those tissues will help you have a much better, harder session next week. Right? So that's another way to think about this. Like Mark said, you can work out every single day, but you got to be smart about what that workout looks like every single day, because not every single day is going to be a super hard workout, but it can still be productive.
Yeah, having an intent, I think, is critical, because if you have the intent, then you can check the box for that you had a good workout.
Yeah. Okay. From Josh Brewer. What are some habits? And again, remember, guys, one of you guys is going to win hostage tape. One of you guys is going to win viewer. One of you guys is going to win within you. One of you guys is going to win something from Vivo Barefoot shoes. And also, for everybody in here, I don't know if today's the 20th, but usually our code for Vivo is 15% off. It's 20% off until November 20th. So if you want a little bit of an extra discount, 20% off your shoes instead of 15% off your shoes, you can get that with our code from Vivo up to November 20th. That's it. And then it goes back to 15%.
Yeah, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. And if you're hearing this after the live session, apologies. That's this what happens. And so more
live, baby.
Yeah. More reason to jump on these lives when they do show up.
Josh Brewer, what are some habits/resources y'all have for lifelong learning? I'm studying exercise science and enjoy all the course content, but in lectures with 250 people, I want to supplement with other things. Yeah.
Shit, he's doing it.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, no, and the thing is we've had so many guests on who have like given us so many other resources that we can look into that, to be perfectly honest, comes down to your interest.
Yeah, you have to be interested in it, because if you're not interested in it, then you're gonna just be fucking bored to death. So, for myself, I consume a bunch of different content, and I have stuff that is like queued up to listen to. And it kind of just depends on the mood. And what I'll do is if I put something on and I just don't really enjoy it that much, I'll shut it down and I'll turn on the other thing. And if that ain't working, then I'll just probably listen to music. Because I found for myself that it's not good for me to try to force myself to learn something. And if I'm not concentrating on something and I'm just like, wait, what the fuck did they say? And I keep rewinding it. And I'm like, I want to hear that again. And then I try to listen to it again and I miss it again somehow.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, I know that that's not a good time for me. Again, that would be like forced learning. And so, follow your interests, but occasionally you might have to consume information that you don't really, that at first glance, maybe you don't think that you're going to like it. Maybe the first time that you click on somebody's information or the first time you open up somebody's book, maybe you don't love everything they're saying, but you got to have the ability to give it a chance. So with some of that content that I don't like right off the bat, I'll push it off to a different time. I'll listen to it again. I might try one more time. And hopefully by trying 2 or 3 times that I actually start to consume that content. What I found is sometimes I like that person's content so much, I start looking at other stuff from them. And that's huge. And that's where I feel like I end up having breakthroughs, because I found that when I'm resistant to the information at first, that usually that's this medicine that I need. Usually that's when you're a kid and you take the medicine and it's fucking gross. It's like sometimes you need that gross medicine to get you into a new spot. So that's kind of how I do it.
And something else that you could do is you might have people that you're very interested in the way they understand certain things or the way they explain certain aspects of what they do. So obviously listening to podcasts off of people that you're interested in is helpful. But then if you don't hear on that podcast some resources from that individual, DM them and ask them, hey, instead of asking them just a specific question, which is what most people do, ask them for book recommendations. Ask them for text recommendations. Like we just had Greg Saunders on and he gave us a bunch of really amazing recommendations to learn about the ecological approach to training in general, because it's not what he does with training is something that is like a way of thinking about it. And if you want to understand that way of thinking, there are books that can help you understand the way to think about it. So then you can use this ecological approach that he's putting into jiu-jitsu with almost anything you're interested in. And that's powerful versus Andrew, what's up?
No, I'm giggling on two different things. Real quick, it's Souders, not Sounders.
Souders. I thought it was Sounders.
But no, just like when he was talking about like this ecological approach, in my head, before we got into that conversation, it was like, oh, this is this thing for jiu-jitsu and it's a jiu-jitsu thing only. But then he was like, no, this actually came from somewhere else. And then so like once I learned that, I was just like, I want to use this approach for literally everything in my life now, like for learning, for teaching, for all of the above. And it's just like, it's so silly that like, we're over 1,000 episodes in and we hear something like this. That's like, wait a second, this might actually change everything. It's like, it's just exciting. That's why I'm giggling back here. Cause it's so fun. That's part of it, right? I'm interested in this and it just becomes fun to learn more stuff about it. It's not like the textbook that I have to read in order to take a memory test later. Like it's fun.
It's something you're interested in. And you're probably going to end up reading the textbook to understand aspects of it, right? But the thing is you're interested in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's one of those things. Like instead of asking the person, tell me this, just ask them where they learned it from, right? Because then instead of just having access to this one little piece of knowledge and the answer to your question, you're going to have access to the way that they think about things, which will help inform your ability to understand things at that level. You're probably already doing this since you're in lectures and shit, but that's just kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, asking people how they came to their conclusion. How did you get that answer?
Okay, let's see. How you guys feeling right now?
Good.
Feeling great.
Yeah? Good? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we have a question. Oh, it's not even a question. It's a statement. Big A Armory. I like listening to this channel because I feel like I'm just sitting around in the gym, grabbing food afterwards, bullshitting with friends. So you're saying that we're bullshitting.
Yeah.
That's all I took from that statement.
I wonder what kind of food.
Bullshitting.
I wonder what's he eating.
Is he eating during his workout?
I mean, shit, if he's a powerlifter, probably.
If he's taking it serious.
You're taking it seriously, baby. Okay. Let's see. Hello, Power Project. Nice shirt, Mark. My question is cold plunge before a BJJ session. I like to cold plunge after jujitsu, but like, for example, in the morning, I like to cold plunge too. So I'm going to jujitsu tonight and I cold plunged in the morning because it's like, it's so good. It's like, you said it's better than a cup of coffee, and it truly is.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
It hits you, man.
Yeah. And I don't always use my cold plunge. I'll do the same thing in the shower. And the shower, for some reason, like I think it's the noise of the thing going from hot to cold that really like scares me. I'm like, oh fuck. It's like hard, and then it's not instantly cold. It takes a moment. So like that whole thing is like a painful process. But this morning, I've been taking my daughter to school in the morning, and so I don't have the same time that I have in the morning. And so I've been just doing it in the shower, and it feels fucking great. Just run it for a minute or so. It got me cold enough. Then I was cold when I was trying to dry off and shit like that. And so, I don't know, it gives me some good energy. But I would imagine before jiu-jitsu, it would probably feel amazing. I've never tried it.
It does.
Like right before even like a lifting session, I haven't had an opportunity to do it that way. But
before a lifting session would be tough because you're trying to get warm. Yeah. You know what I mean? After you get out to cold plunge, you're like, you gotta get yourself warm again.
Shaking, trying to put the plates on.
Pronimal Mike asked, when are you guys bringing Sam Sulek to the show? It's a great way to kick off 2024. I personally don't know. My question to you guys is, what do you like about Sam Sulek? And I'm not saying this in a way, because I know Sam Sulek, he's cool, he's interesting. But what is it that you like about him? That's my question. So hit the chat and let us know, because he's an interesting cat.
He's crushing it. I think, he's unique, and he just kind of walked into something, and he's doing a great job of it. To find someone that young and that big and jacked. I mean, there's some. We got one here. We got our boy Kenny. He's pretty goddamn big too. But I think there's definitely a skill set. There's a skill set in there somewhere. It's hard to identify, but I think Sam Sulek talks to the camera the way he would talk to like a person. A person that is the way that you would talk to a fan is the way he talks to you the whole time. And it's super interesting because I watched a bunch of the videos because I found it pretty intriguing, and I'm like, this is super interesting. What I find really interesting / awkward though is like he'll be like flexing, right? And he's like in a bathroom, and the moment it hits me, I'm like, he's by himself. Like it's just him and a camera, and he's like, wow. He's like, look at that pump. He's like, that looks pretty sick. He's like, oh shit, we haven't even started the cut yet, and he's doing all, and I'm thinking like, imagine you walk in, you're like, oh, sorry, bro. And he's there like, boom, flexing his triceps and stuff. So it's an interesting thing, but he must have a lot of confidence to go and like, I don't know, randomly do that shit.
He's a huge set of balls. But one thing that I just realized after you said that is he approaches it in a way of like, it's like someone right there. It's not like he's talking to a camera. It's like his homie's right there and he's like, yeah, yeah, see that, bro? The camera's a person to him. And that's why you feel like you're right there, because he's talking to you like you're right there.
Right.
That's good job, Sam.
Yeah, he's got it down.
Good job, Sam.
We're working on getting them here, by the way. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. A lot of questions. I'm just going to go to the bottom real quick of this question sheet, and we're going to kind of work our way up. Zach Morris, how do you keep up with running during the winter? It's dark outside when I leave for work and I get home. I would love to keep up with running while mitigating the danger of running in the dark. Are you a man, Zach? Are you? No, that's kind of smart, dude. I feel
he wants to live.
I don't like running in the dark.
I don't like running.
First of all, we live in California, so the weather's always nice here. Like it gets cold, but the morning gets kind of cold, But it's not New York. This is not fucking Michigan. This is not the East Coast, so we don't have to deal with like snow and other things. But yeah, it gets dark. Getting a headlight is great. You can just get a flashlight that you wear on your head. Those work awesome. Using your phone. I would say that it's important that if you are going to run at night, people get hit by cars way more than you would ever even fucking imagine. So don't get hit by a motherfucking car.
Did you mention wearing the little light things?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Wearing some reflectors is a good idea. But what I was going to mention is if you don't have a light on and it's kind of dark out, you're like, oh, I'm fine, I can see. It's not about you. It's about the people on the road that are driving. They need to be able to see you. So make sure that they can see you. And even if you don't want to, fucking turn your phone light on and have that on so you can kind of shine it appropriately wherever you need to, not just so you can see, but so that they can see you. And it's even important with bikes and stuff. You can get fucked up by a bike. So like when I'm running, sometimes I'll hold my phone down to the side because I've been running at a weird time. I've been running like as it's getting dark. But I'll hold my phone down to the side where the light is actually shining backwards. And that's for the bikes that are coming up because the people on bikes are riding them like maniacs. So I want to make sure that they see me too. But I find it encouraging and I find it kind of fun to run in the dark. Having said that, I would find areas that are like well lit. So recently I've been running. I usually run like the Arboretum in Davis. I love running in that area.
Do you run in there dark?
I do sometimes run in there when it's dark, but there's some lights there. There's some lights here and there. But then also I found that, so just alongside that path, the whole thing is lit up. There's just lights everywhere. And then there's also UC Davis's right there. So I can kind of run like along campus. And then the other day I got kind of lost in the campus. The campus is huge. And I found the football stadium. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see if I can run over there. And it's wide open. It's open. So I ran around the, I'm not allowed to run on the field or anything. There was people down there doing lacrosse or something like that. But I was able to run around the outside perimeter, which was super cool. And there was a lot of other people working out there. People were like running stadiums and stuff. So it was like invigorating. It gave me like more energy. And there's something weird or something cool about it being dark outside and it being cool outside and seeing a lot of other people exercising. So you might find that to be motivating or find it to be cool, but you're gonna have to find somewhere where there's some lights. There's more street lights and shit around than you would think. So keep searching for it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a group of people that run when I'm on my way to jiu-jitsu. They're like a pack running, and I can tell like how early or late I am. If they're on this side, if they're on this side, that means I'm late. But like they're all lit up. Like it's like it's too much, but like they have like almost like glow sticks throughout the whole body.
A lot of run clubs do that. Yeah.
So they look like stick figures running in the dark. It's kind of cool.
People be dying out here, bro. It's like it's smart.
Yeah.
Kevin Reagan, if your muscles are sore, is there a higher chance of tearing something? Was bench pressing today and sore from a workout 2 days ago. I bitched out on a couple of reps because I wasn't feeling it. First off, Kevin, you didn't bitch out. You were being smart. I think it's some people don't pay attention to the feeling of when something's sketchy and they're just like, well, I'm going to just do a few more or let me just work through it. And it's like, if you can work through it slowly and with light load and see how sketchy it feels, okay, cool. But really pay attention to that because I've been seeing videos of people where I'm just like, how did you not realize that things were getting sketchy, right? You got to pay attention to the signals your body sends you, especially if you're really fatigued. Because when you're really fatigued, like you just mentioned, Kevin, when you're really fatigued and you're really sore, yes, there is a higher chance of you getting injured. So that's smart that you kind of left the session on that day because many people don't, but pay attention to that. If you're feeling beat up, if you're feeling sore, take things slow, take things light. And if you can work through it, cool. But if it just keeps feeling not good, walk away or just do some body weight shit, get some blood. That's it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to exercise, rules number 1 through 5 are don't get hurt. Don't get hurt, don't get injured. That's going to happen to you anyway. You're going to get tweaked. Something's going to happen. You're going to reach for a dumbbell one day and it's going to be 20 pounds and you get a little tweak here and there. It just happens. So you don't need anything extra to magnify that. So when you are banged up and not feeling great, sometimes the best thing you do is and the most powerful thing you can do is sometimes take weight off the bar. And the other most powerful thing you can do is leave the goddamn gym. Get the hell out of there.
Oh. I'm not going to burp on the mic. Moose, what are your favorite pairs of Vivos for everyday casual wear? I dig the Moduses as a casual shoe. Also dig their boots. They have these new Gobi boots, which are really slick. Those Primus lights are also nice for casual wear.
Oh, that's all I was going to say is just Primus lights for everything all day, every day.
The main ones I like are the ones that have the strong grip on them, but I don't know what those are called.
The Modus?
They're
the strength shoe?
light pink, and then there's another one.
Those
that's
are
kind
Primus knits.
Wait. You said they're light pink?
Yeah, there's ones that are light
Yeah,
pink.
the Novus.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yep.
Yeah, those are the Novus.
Pink. Got it. I thought you meant like the ones that are white and pink.
Yeah, those are fucking badass.
Those are cool too. Yeah.
The Novus are sick, man. Like if you guys go to their website, type in
They got a little extra oomph to them.
Oh yeah, and they're wide and they're comfortable and they can fucking bend and shit. They're great. They're fucking great. From Tat to Trav. Also, I want you guys to let me know what you guys think of this. Yo, is it true about semen retention? I think we got this during the last live too, by the way. I heard Arnold and Tyson, Ronnie, and many other practice this, and I hear others saying it's game changing. How do you feel about this? Did you ever do semen retention before powerlifting?
I don't think I've ever practiced it.
Nothing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the strength to figure that out. I don't think.
Yeah, I mentioned
Gotta release that pressure.
It gets frustrating, and maybe that's the thing because you get this pent up like fucking that like when you haven't
like extra energy.
Yeah, when you haven't nutted in a while, you just feel like fuck. I gotta let all this out. Not even just that. You just gotta let it out.
No, you gotta fight for
vigor.
it. You gotta fight to like earn it.
Yeah, like didn't Mike Tyson have a video where he was like, "Oh fuck you"? Didn't he say that to somebody? And he probably just really wanted to fuck him. Like, I'll fuck you in that ring.
He was crazy sometimes.
I think he told the guy, he was gonna fuck him in the ass. Wow.
Andrew,
amazing.
No, so with that being said, I think there is a valid thing. Like if it's been a long time since you haven't nutted, hold that shit for a while.
See what happens.
Yeah, hey, hold that shit, just get to work. And when you feel like I'm gonna beat my shit, just don't beat it.
How long you gotta wait for?
Hey, try to go 2 weeks. Could you go 2 weeks without nutting? That's a nice little test. Can you? And then you'll see like, oh shit, I'm virile as fuck, dog. Like I'm serious. You will kind of feel like that.
I don't know, guys.
It's not good for the old prostate. I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, that's because y'all are fucking 50.
That's right.
Like,
I know.
We got to get it out. It's important.
I'll be due for mine soon.
Oh, what your rezip?
The exam.
Oh shit! Do they stick their fingers up there? Right?
I hope so.
That's why I can't wait.
All right. So what are we getting? Okay, No Nut November. PMS is SRS, sperm retention syndrome. Oh, Spencer Embry. He's 16 days into his semen retention. All right. Well, tell us how that is
November.
For you right now. Oh, dude, it's been a long time since I've done No Nut November.
Do you remember Destroy Dick December?
No.
So that one. So it's like the follow up to No Nut November. So December 1st, beat off once, or at least nut once. December 2nd. 2 nuts, 3 nuts, 4 nuts, and as the month goes on, you just keep adding an extra nut every day.
So you get up to 30 or so.
Yeah, well, yeah, every day. Like every day you multiply or whatever the fuck the number is.
All right,
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Before we get to the next question, what do you guys think is the most amount of nuts you had in a day? And let's go back to as far as you remember. Most amount.
Oh man, I was beating it a lot.
What do you think? What do you think's like your highest day? I bet I got you beat.
It's got to be like, I mean, I'm just making it up kind of, but I would say like, I don't know, 15 or something.
Oh, then you beat me. I was 12. I just remember the 12 day.
Dude,
yeah, but I would say it's like
17.
I would say it's somewhere in that range probably,
Damn,
dude,
15.
Probably.
Man, this
I don't know.
Shit.
Oh, dude, it was weird, man. Like there was one time it was
mine
like
has an asterisk next to it.
So does mine
I
because
need more proof.
Mine's kind of was like unlimited. It was like the weirdest thing that I can never ever retain back, and I wish I didn't waste it on myself. But I would nut, and then the refractory period was just gone. I could just keep going.
How old were you?
I don't do like brand new to doing this, so I wasn't like.
It's always the best when you're new.
I was like, I remember thinking about this day quite often, actually, and I was just like, fuck, like, how do I get that back? Like, that'd be sick. So, yeah, it just kept
You're
going.
fucking in the zone.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You were like Jordan that one day where he's like this. You're like that. You're like, you get a picture of you like this.
But it's
can't stop me, man.
It was it's possible. I don't know. I was gifted. I peaked too early.
Well, let's think about the context. You were new. You did nut for a while. What were we just saying? Maybe you just don't nut for a little bit, and maybe maybe it comes back
No,
for stronger,
I was
right?
definitely nutting. I just at that time, I mean, I was junior high, so
It's probably good there wasn't like a participant.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They might not have come back from that.
yeah,
Dog. Yo, man.
good old days.
Sometimes it's fucked up, but you hear about like these young boys who it's like their teacher like had sex with them.
Oh,
Right?
it's awful.
It's awful.
It's
I look at that
awful.
like, dog, if I was 15, teacher, yeah. Right? Like, it's
Yeah,
like
Joey-
100%.
Joey Diaz has a whole like thing on that. He's like, those teachers were brilliant. He's like, they realize that those young men, their dicks are so hard. He's like, and it's not going down. It's going to stay hard forever. Like, God damn.
Oh, horrible teachers, but as a student, hey, you're in heaven. Power Project Family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we partnered with Certified Piedmontese Beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But Certified Piedmontese is made in the U.S. of A.
America.
America. Fuck yeah. So go out and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah. Nathan Wagster. Hi, PP. I hear a lot of people in the community mention kratom. I'm trying to cut down on my weekend drinking, but it's difficult because my circle all drink. We are 22, 23. Oh, ooh. Is kratom a good alternative?
Hey now.
Your circle all drink, though.
Man, yeah.
22, 23 is a hard age.
It seems like when people try to cut back on drinking, it doesn't seem like it works great.
Mhm.
It seems like people have better success when they like cut it out. Not sure why. I don't understand the addictive mechanisms of like alcohol, but just something I observed. It's rare for someone to be like, I'm just going to like do it less. And they don't seem to really do it less. I think there's, if their circle is drinking, it's hard to, that peer pressure or even just the pressure you put yourself under. I think that you feel that you need to do it to like fit in. And it's a weird thing. If you can get past that discomfort, being someone that rarely drinks, the discomfort's only for a few minutes, like you're at a party or you go to some sort of family get together or something like that. And everybody else is drinking and they say, hey, you want a drink? And you say no. Then maybe one more person asks you one more time. And then that's usually it. And then the party is going and people are drinking and you're like deciding not to. It's usually like, if you can kind of hang in there for like 10 or 20 minutes, you're going to be totally fine. And everyone else is going to be totally relaxed because they're drinking. Mm-hmm. So I know it's a weird stance on this, but I've said this before, like everybody else is intoxicated and you're not. And so you don't have to be intoxicated with them in order to have fun. Your guard should be able to be let down just as if you were drinking, since their judgment is different than normal anyway. So that's kind of the way I've always looked at it. And if you can kind of weather the storm of those first few minutes of feeling a little awkward, you should be okay. I do think it's a good idea to look into alternatives. I think kratom is an amazing alternative to a lot of different things people get into. For myself, I always liked kratom in terms of like mood, in terms of creativity. I really enjoy it before a run, sometimes before workouts. But it is something you do need to be careful with. Kratom is an opioid. It is something that is addictive. It can be addictive for some people. It can, for some people, it seems like they just want to like blast it all day long. For myself, I use very small amounts of it and it does what it needs to do. And it puts me into a good spot and I really enjoy it for that. Also keeping in mind that you're only 23. I would say that kratom is like almost too good. So I would recommend and suggest that if you can get away without doing it, then I would suggest that you try to go that route. Just because it's like, I think I haven't really smoked weed to know too much about it, but at least with THC and like mushrooms, for me anyway, there's not like a real attachment to those things.
Yeah.
I can take them, and the experience is a little different every time. It's not the same. It's not like with Kratom, my experience again, I get pushed into this amazing like zone because it's just almost like a little shot of like dopamine. And it almost makes me feel very similar to the way a runner's high feels, or the way you feel when you're in the middle of a workout and your workout feels really good. You feel energized. You don't have pain. So for me, it does a lot of those things. It like almost liberates more energy out of me because I don't have, I feel warmed up. I feel like revved up. And so it does all those things for me. But being 23 years old is like a fucking confusing thing. And I would just, if you could, I would try to wait till you're a little older.
Dude, yeah, I agree with that because I did Kratom, but some people find themselves overusing it and then they can't stop because it feels great. So I like it, but I'm mindful about how I use it, and I'm mindful about how much I use it because I know it's so good. So that's one thing. Be careful with that. And if you're someone who chooses to try weed or something, be careful. First off, stay away from the fucking pens, because like we've been having so much shit come about how pens fuck up people's lungs and fuck up people's health. And I know a lot of dudes that be using that shit these days. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, dog, it's at this point, just smoke something else. Get some like actual, if you're going to smoke weed, get some actual leaf, right? Those pens aren't good because they end up being like a little fucking binky for people. They need to take a hit. First off, it's super convenient. They have their pen on them and they're just taking hits all day long. But that adds up and it's fucking you up and you're not realizing it.
These gummies are pretty wild too, because the amount of milligrams that you're receiving of just straight THC to your face is a lot.
That's true. But you know, at least you're not inhaling, because like this is the thing, smoking anything isn't good for your lungs. But the guys that be smoking pens, they're not taking one hit of a pen and they're chilling. They're taking multiple hits of a pen all day long. And so don't be careful with that, because a lot of people are talking about weed being cool these days. And I smoke weed every now and then. I dig it. But the thing is I'm also mindful about the way I use weed, because it's like, it feels good and it can allow you to be more creative. I'll sometimes smoke weed before jujitsu and stuff, and it's good for that. But then because it feels so good, you can get into the habit of, okay, I'll just do it today and then I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's an everyday thing. And then you start doing it in the morning and then you're high all day long. Like that's what it turns into. So these things are awesome, but you gotta be mindful about the way you use them, because people are talking mad shit on Kratom, but I dig it. The thing is like, for example, I just took that fucking Respawn thing from Gorilla Mind. It's cool, but it doesn't feel as good as Kratom does. Right. Even when it comes to like focus, clarity, and even creativity, it doesn't feel as good as Kratom does. But the thing is like, if I overuse Kratom, that's also not good. So you just got to be smart with this shit. And on the alcohol side of things, like I used to drink a bit when I was younger too, because a lot of my friends did, but that shit wasn't good for me. I knew it wasn't good for me. And those friends that were drinking, still they do that. I'm not friends with them anymore, and that's cool. Like I had to, like, there was a shift. There had to be a shift out of that circle. So some people will tell you like, maybe you need to find a different circle, and maybe that's the case. But maybe, like Mark said, maybe you just don't drink and see if you can handle that, because I fully applaud you about trying to get off of alcohol. There's really nothing great about it, you know?
Yeah, and just again, kind of because he said like to substitute with Kratom. Depending on how he, like how much he's drinking, like it could be really bad if you're trying to find a substitute for drinking to get drunk, right? Like you're not going to find that in a better option anywhere else. And even that, you know, doing that's really bad. But yeah, I mean, in my early 20s, that's all I lived for, you know, was just drinking. And if I could go back, yeah, I would just, I don't know, it would be impossible to convince me to not drink, but I would do whatever I could to try to convince my young self to just not drink. And you know, like you were saying, you turn it down once or twice, people call you a bitch, whatever it may be, but eventually they get the hint and then they go back to being selfish and just drinking beer for themselves. And then you do that a couple times at a couple different events, and then you just become the person that always says no. So then they stop asking you. That's what happens to me at family functions now. Nobody asks me to drink, and there's always beer around. But yeah, I kind of laugh if they do offer me now. It's kind of the tables have turned where it's like, well, really? Like, you're going to offer me beer? Like, you're silly, you know, instead of like them being like, whoa, that's weird. You don't drink. I'm like, well, that's weird. You offered me a beer? I'm like, really? Don't you know me, son?
It makes people feel really awkward if you're not drinking. You know, they kind of get mad, or they're just like, oh, come on, just have fun, you know? And you're like, I'm fine. Like, I'm having my own fun. It's just I don't know, it's a societal thing. It's everywhere. It's acceptable to do it, and it's like unacceptable not to do it for some reason.
Right.
But I think if you're young and you're trying to like really improve your life and you're trying to get on a good path, I don't think that alcohol needs to be removed from every single person's life, and I don't think that everyone has to completely abstain from it. But there definitely are some people that it just doesn't mesh well with, and I think there is a problem too with getting used to like you do something with friends, and it's like you're stacking like dopamine. You're stacking this behavioral pattern of like, I'm watching football and I'm drinking and I'm eating wings and I'm, you know, dipping in ranch dressing and like all these other things that you're doing like all simultaneously. It's like, that's a lot going on. Like, now you're distracting away from some of your fitness goals and you're getting drunk. Like, it's just, and I think that's what makes it tough to pull away from certain things. So the addictive side of it is super dangerous. But again, I like to drink here and there. I have some drinks with my wife here and there. I have some drinks with some family members, some friends. But it's like, here's what this is a conclusion I came to with the whole thing. I don't really give a fuck about alcohol that much. I don't care about it that much. However, if I didn't eat anything for the day and I have a little bit of alcohol, makes me feel awesome. Makes me feel really good. I get a high, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I get drunk from it. That's like a special spot to be in, and that feels really good. And it lasts for like 20 minutes. And maybe if I have one more drink, maybe the whole thing lasts maybe an hour.
Boy, let me tell you, though.
And it's fun and it feels good.
Yeah.
You know, it feels nice. But, you know, normally my day is like full of like lifting and podcasting and doing other shit. And then I get home from here and normally I eat. So if I eat and drink, it does nothing. It like literally feels like it does nothing to me, because I would much rather eat, and I'd much rather eat a lot of food than I would to drink alcohol.
That's one of the reasons why I love being a lightweight, because every now and then I'll have alcohol, and I've always been a lightweight with the shit. So like if I had a glass of wine or whatever, I'm good. I'm gone a little bit. You know, I'm still aware, but like I'm giggly, I'm feeling it, you know? And that's because I don't drink super often. So every time I do, it ends up being a great fun experience, because like my shit just hits me. Like I'm done. You know?
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Yeah, I know we've been on it for a while, but it is like super important to me, because like, again, like alcohol was like a really big part of my life. But like, if your group of friends, like you're all in your early 20s, you're probably drinking on the weekends. Like, why are you drinking though? Like, you're drinking, like you said, like you're stacking things on top of each other. But like what's the occasion? Oh, it's Friday. Why are you celebrating? I mean, there's a chance he maybe started a company when he was 13 years old and they, you know, sold it for $20 million or whatever it is. Like, yeah, sure, go celebrate. But you're still in your early 20s. Maybe, I don't know, man, save these times for something down the road when you do hit success, and then you can maybe have a couple of drinks here and there. But I just feel like I would drink to get away from reality. And, you know, so it's weird to think that like, oh, I want to get with my buddies and drink so we can pretend that we're not all here right now, almost, you know? So again, like, why are you drinking? Like, what are you celebrating? And then when you ask that question, you'll probably realize, actually, I'm not really celebrating or doing anything or drinking for anything. I'm just drinking because I want to get drunk.
I've been drunk like maybe 5 times in my life, something like that, maybe even less. I don't know. I feel fortunate, you know, I feel fortunate that I haven't, you know, fell into it in that way.
Do you think you could have?
Yeah, I think I could have. I think just about anybody can. You know, I also think that different things hit people in different ways. You know, we all have different backgrounds. We all are from different places. So I think when my brothers had a drink, I think it had a different impact on them versus when I had a drink. And some people are some people are able to deal with it in a different way and just be like, I don't really. Some people just don't even like the taste of it. I don't really like the taste of it. It still all tastes like it has like alcohol in it to me. It doesn't.
Not even wine?
It doesn't taste good. I mean, I have like adopted a taste for some wine.
I see. Okay, yes.
But like I adopted it because it's like kind of fun to do it, and it's kind of fun to get a little buzz going from some alcohol. But I didn't really do it. I mean, I don't really love it. I don't really love like the flavor, but I do love some of the effect of it, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
All right. So
Keep hitting that like button.
yes, Josh Brew. Oh no, actually, it's Josh Berger. I lost his question. Okay, Josh, I'm gonna have it. Here we go. I have a Whoop. I base most of my workouts off average heart rate over the course of my session. I shoot for 150 beats per minute for an hour. I use 100-meter jogs between sets to drive up heart rate. Is that productive?
Damn, that sounds like a fucking tough workout. Oh yeah, there's your Morpheus. Yeah, I mean, that's a particular style of workout. I would say that maybe for where your heart rate is, that's a little bit long in terms of how long you're keeping your heart rate elevated that high. But it also could be, you could be young. If you're young, then your heart rate can afford to be a little higher for a little longer, so you can keep that intensity high. Sounds like a pretty goddamn good workout to me.
No, it sounds great. Especially if you want to be a more conditioned athlete, that's a pretty solid thing to do. Whoop is good. I have a Whoop too. I pulled up this because my dog ate my last one, but Mark grabbed me this other one. It's Morpheus. It's from Joel Jameson. It's really, really solid if you are an athlete who's looking to get more, do more conditioning workouts with specific heart rate zones. So Morpheus, like you have zones for lighter days of training. You have red zone training that you can do once or twice a week, but it does a really good job of programming that for you. And we've had athletes on the show and athletes we know that literally just follow the workouts from Morpheus because Joel is just a brain when it comes to conditioning. So the cool thing about it though is that unlike Whoop, where there is sadly with Whoop, there is a fucking, you have to pay yearly for this thing, right? Now, Morpheus is like a one-time payment, but you have access to the app and all those workouts and the HRV tracking and all those things. So for those of you who are trying to do more conditioning type stuff and you need something to help with guidance, the Morpheus is going to be a really, really, really good route to go. And I prefer the Morpheus for conditioning stuff versus the Whoop. Yes, the Whoop is better at tracking jiu-jitsu workouts and stuff. It's just better for tracking things because they have a really good armband. So I like the Whoop tracking, but when it comes to actual like workouts and sessions and stuff, I like the Morpheus for that.
Yeah, I like Morpheus as well, tracking the HRV, and I've been using it for probably like 5 or 6 months now, and I really love it. You know, I've been able to improve my HRV quite a bit. It's typically in the 80s. My VO2 max has improved drastically. It's probably gone up. Maybe about 8 or so points from where it was in the beginning. So shout out to our buddy Joel. He's incredible. Joel Jameson, Morpheus product. It's awesome. Last thing I'll say on that is that some zone 2 cardio might be really important for you to try. Again, your age. I'm not sure of how old you are. You could be kind of in zone 2, but zone 2 is a much easier, more gentle pace, and it doesn't feel like you're training that hard, but it's a way for you to train the heart. It's a way for you to kind of quote unquote expand the heart. It's a way for you to increase your conditioning, all while doing exercise that you are going to recover from very easily. So lifting and jogging in between, that can be something that you recover fine from because you could be super fit. But for most people, most of the time, that would be a more intense workout, and you just want to be cautious that you don't do that too much.
Damn. Okay, so we're going to take a few more questions from, we're at 83 likes. Maybe we can get to 100 if the people. So guys, just click that like button. Doesn't take much, but we appreciate all. Like guys, seriously, you guys have had some fucking killer questions today, and we're gonna be trying to do these Q&As once a week on a Thursday or a Friday around this time. So if you want to chime in and get your questions answered, chill, hang out, whatever it is you're doing. If you're at work and you're with us here, fuck work, dog. Good for you. But thanks for these questions because you guys are helping us think more too. This is great. So Preston Shader, reposting my question from above. How do you guys approach conveying new ideas to people that are stuck in their ways?
Oh my God. Yeah, I think sometimes it's a good idea to just not, you know, just don't, you know, try to make suggestions or try to communicate. And if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. They want to continue. Let's say it's somebody they don't want to listen to your advice on nutrition or something. Sometimes it could be your approach. You know, maybe you've been rude. Maybe you said, "Hey, you're too fat. You can't eat that." And maybe you haven't been clear in your explanation. And, you know, instead, if it's somebody that you care about, say, "Hey, I really love you. I care about you a lot. You know that I love reading and listening to stuff about nutrition. I'm here for you. I'd love to help you anytime that you want help, or anytime other family member wants help. I'd love to help you." Or maybe we can just go grab some dinner sometime and I can show you like kind of how I eat and how my family eats or something like that. So sometimes like the way that we word stuff could be really important, but convincing people, it doesn't work great. You know, if you think about if Nsima goes on Instagram right now, Nsima looks fucking incredible. But if he goes on Instagram right now and he's flipping around the kettlebell, and he's trying to convince everybody that they have to do that because that's what works great for him, he's not going to really get anywhere. And people aren't going to really like it. They're going to talk shit. But if he gets on there and says, "This is what I love to do every day. This is enjoyable for me, and I found something new that I really like," probably more positive response. Other people probably look at it and go, "Man, that looks kind of difficult, but maybe I should try something like that." So they'll get inspired and they'll want to do it. And you want people to try to convince themselves, I guess is my main point in kind of bringing some of that up, is that don't try to really convince anybody of anything.
Yo, I mean, think about this, man. Years ago, when you're focused on lifting and someone told you to do some of the shit you're doing right now, you'd probably be like, "Bitch, what?
Yeah, get out of here."
Right? Like, again, like having to...
They got to explain why.
They have to explain why. And this is the thing. I think nowadays, too, I don't work on convincing people about things outside of like my mother or like my super close family who I'm super like their health is as important to me as it should be to them. Like I will. But
that's a longer conversation. You communicate and you make sure you're conscious. You're not like hurting someone's feelings or going in the wrong angle.
Yeah. But if somebody like that I know asks me about something once and I give them that answer and they don't like that answer and I see that they haven't changed, I'm not gonna bother because that's their choice. It's up to them to make that change whether they want to or not. If they don't want to, they are a human with their own agency. They don't have to make that change. You know? So yeah, convincing people is tough.
I mean, I'm not going to try to convince everybody to vote for Trump in the new election because he's going to win anyway. So there's really no reason for me to sit here and talk about what a great president he's been in the past.
Oh, what?
Or like I shouldn't have to convince people that COVID was fake. I mean, it should be apparent to everybody.
Yeah,
right?
It should be very obvious. And then if you don't decide, it's your choice. But what I was going to say is just you can be the example, as silly as that sounds, because it sounds like if you're trying to convince someone out of their ways, it is somebody close to you. You can inform them and then also keep doing what you're doing and then hope that over time they ask you how you got to wherever it is that you got to. Yeah.
All right. We have two more questions. Does this sound good to you guys?
Sounds great.
2 unless we hit 100 likes and then we'll do maybe 2 more.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Failure.
4 total.
Giving it away today.
Failure undetermined. Gained a ton of weight recovering from a back injury. Eating at a deficit and have lost 20 pounds. But I'm also getting stronger. Is this only possible due to TRT? I start at 430 pounds. Could it be due to size? So he means he is on TRT. So he started at 430 pounds. Could it be due to size? So he's 410 pounds now. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Optimization works.
Shit, yeah. So a little testosterone can be helpful, but who cares where you got the help from? You know, and that should be a motivator for you, and it should be something that kind of sparks you to head in the right direction. There's a lot of people that are using these diet drugs right now, you know, using Ozempic and some of those things, and some people have certain feelings and about those things, and some people are saying you got to do it, you know, the real way, you got to do it the hard way. Well, obesity is very complex. I don't think out of all the smart people we talk to, and we talk to some people that are super smart, we've never had a conversation with one person that's figured out how to really truly help people that are obese. I mean, there's ways to assist them. There's ways to help people that are obese. There's ways to help people lose weight, but it's very complicated. There's a lot of shit going on a lot of times, and so hey, whatever way you can get results. Hopefully you're utilizing like a TRT clinic, or you're utilizing a doctor that can kind of monitor blood pressure and check other things. But man, I would say, hey, whatever way you can make progress, keep making progress, and I'd be proud of it, regardless of whether it's because of an intervention of some TRT.
All right, cool. Ryan Hodge, I think this is kind of like, you know, these stacks on top of each other. Just started TRT 2 weeks ago. T levels were 290. Already feeling the effects, clarity, motivation.
Attaboy.
I've been training hard for 3 to 4 years.
Oh.
When can I say safely blast and cruise? Any advice?
Oh my God. Does he say how old he is?
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Oh,
no, he doesn't. So yeah, Andrew. Mark, since you've done this a lot, but also Andrew. When can you safely blast and cruise?
He wants to take more shit, basically?
Yeah, he wants to know when he can safely blast and cruise.
Well, you know, he's probably already made that decision. I would say, you know, do more research, look this stuff up more. Listen to Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Listen to Vigorous Steve. Listen to Stan Efferding. There have been studies on people utilizing testosterone,
He's 35.
Oh,
utilizing 600 milligrams of testosterone a week.
don't do that.
Well, well, I didn't finish my story. they utilize 600 milligrams of testosterone with success and without a lot of negative side effects. But you want to look into it more. That's one study, you know, and I don't know how many people there were and so on, but I would say that there's a big difference between replacement dose and a dose that would get you into like a super physiological range. And the range that would get you into a super physiological range can feel really good. So you have to be kind of cautious of that. You have to think about it. It could be something that you get addicted to. You could put on 10 pounds of muscle in a fairly short period of time. There could be side effects that you don't like. There could be the possibility that you want to have children one day, and maybe that's not anything that you explored just yet. And in terms of your fertility, it seems like it does come back when you do come off testosterone. But if it didn't and you weren't able to have a kid, I mean, that might really suck. That might change and alter your life in some ways. So there's some things to think about and consider, but it sounds like you're already there, you know? It sounds like you're already on the ledge and already on the edge. And I would just say, hey, sometimes you got to just figure it out for yourself. So
Chase Irons, he's in the middle of an injection right now.
Great job.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get a feel for it and just try it yourself. And you know, the results that you'll get from taking a little bit more is going to be really good. You just have to be careful that you don't get caught up in taking a little bit more again, a little bit more again.
He says he has 3 kids and he doesn't need any more, meaning he doesn't care about not being fertile. He says, fuck semen, like fuck fertility.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I would just say that like a testosterone, even at TRT dosages, feels incredible. So you might, I don't know, get a year or two down the road, and I don't know, might not feel like you need to really quote blast. I know I haven't felt any need, although my goals are probably way different than yours. But I don't know, man. You just said you have 3 kids. Let's go ahead and stay around as long as possible and just stay on the TRT dose.
Yeah, Anabolic Activities has been spamming the chat.
I would
saying wild shit.
I would say that if you're you know, again, it sounds like you're already there. So I've talked to so many people over the years. I know when someone's already there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
This guy probably got it, you know, loaded up already and he's probably ready to go.
Drive that plunger home, buddy. Chase Iron says.
I would just say, just try a little bit more first. You know what I mean? Like, don't go and like double your dosage. Just, you know, if you're taking 200 or 100 milligrams, try 125 or 150. You know, try just a little bit more and see what a little bit more does first before you go jumping into doing some big acid dosages.
I guess this maybe isn't the healthiest thing to do, but Mark, do you remember your first, like after you decided to jump on, like what it was? Was it just testosterone or did you have a nice little mixture of things?
I went on testosterone and I went on nandrolone too, Deca. I took both at the same time, and it was like it was probably 300 milligrams of both, which was like each one was 300 milligrams per cc per milliliter, and it had a fucking like just wild, wild impact on me because I'd never taken anything before, and instantly probably threw on a good 20 pounds or so.
Over a decade of training, though.
Yeah.
And this guy's 3 to 4 years in, he said.
Yeah.
So
Just a little bit more info because Ryan just keeps giving us more.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Doing 200 milligrams a week, so yeah, we'll just bump up to 250. Great advice, thank you. And I don't plan on taking Anavar, Deca, etc. Just bumping up TRT, so not a real blast.
Then yeah, just see if you can just keep getting your labs done, so that way the I guess the estrogen doesn't go through the roof, and then maybe you can take something else to bring that back down. That's going to help the testosterone work a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That so I think we all assumed that blast. We thought like he was going to do like a bunch of shit, but just more more testosterone. Yeah, you already decided. So best of luck, and I'm sure you're going to get fucking huge.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer a quick question from Anabolic Activities. They were wondering when I plan on bodybuilding again. Probably.
Look like you're bodybuilding right now.
I mean, I'm still 250. I mean, I can still get up to 260 very easily. I'm probably I will hit the stage again, but it's probably going to be in my mid-30s to early 40s when my competing with jiu-jitsu, those goals are like done and I have what I want there. Then I'll hit the bodybuilding stage again because that's not going to be a focus for me. So
you can't let your girlfriend be more jacked than you.
Yo, she's killing her prep right now. She's destroying her prep right now. She looks great for bikini. Looks great for bikini.
Sick.
So let's see.
Yeah, we didn't hit 100 likes, so that was it. That was the last 2 questions.
So yeah, how do you guys win on the giveaways? Anabolic Activities asked. That means you asked a question, we answered the question.
They're not eligible.
They're not eligible. No, they're not. Yeah. We love you guys either way. But anybody who asked a question, we're going to be giving away 1 year of hostage tape to one lucky winner, a Viore gift card, Vivo gift card, and a Within You gift card.
And we're giving away this. No, just kidding.
Can we go? Is the one that your dog chewed up still like
the Morpheus?
Did you throw it away?
His dog's HRV is 130.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, let's just ask this question. I mean, let's answer this question real quick because it's for Mark, and we did hit 100. So,
Mark Bell?
Mark, did you ever have any tailbone pain when sumo deadlifting?
I have not run into that before, but it sounds like it'd be fucking painful. Yeah. I never had it on the sumo deadlift. I have had tailbone pain before, though. But the only thing I can think of is like go to like a chiropractor or something. Go to a doctor.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how long he's had this tailbone pain. Okay. Well, we'll want to do one more question since we hit 100 likes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta pee really bad.
So do I.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just gonna scroll, and then take the first question we see. That's not
I'll
crazy.
pee, and then you guys just talk amongst yourselves. For
okay.
All right. Mark's gonna go take a piss, and guys, this won't take long. But
pee.
oh, Andrew's gonna pee too, so it's just gonna be us hanging out. But I'm actually kind of curious that since we're live right now and you guys are chilling, how many of you guys think I lie about drug use? And I won't take offense to any of this, but I'm actually legitimately curious.
Can I put a poll up?
Yeah. Put up a poll. I want to see how many people think I'm lying about drug use.
I'm very curious. I used to be able to do that, but I don't know if I can anymore. Wait, where's it at?
It's somewhere there.
Engage.
Yeah.
Start a poll. Here we go.
I'm gonna do something Chase Irons, I'm 6'2", currently 250 pounds. I could get up to 255 if I have a little bit more sodium and 260. Yeah, I'm gonna do something to Vigorous Steve, where he wants me to go to like a WADA accredited lab, and I think it's gonna be in fucking LA, so I have to go to LA for this shit. I thought it'd be easier, but yeah, I'm curious.
All
And if you
right.
guys think I'm
Numbers
lying,
are coming
I don't take
in.
offense to it because I've gotten that a lot of time now, so I'm kind of used to it. But
80-20, 80.
oh, the percentage is going down.
Oh my
the percentage
goodness.
is going down.
It was cool. The first three were right away 100%. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Oh, that hurt. Jeremy Avila, you can tell he's natty by his small wrists. Fuck you, Jeremy. Fuck you. Okay, let's find the last good question while this poll is going down. Let's see.
Poll's still there. Just scroll it maybe.
Oh, I'm down to do you guys? Okay, this is actually, yeah, Dom Sornberger. I've been on a cut for about 28 weeks. I'm in a 300 to 500 calorie deficit per week. I'm down 25 pounds.
Great job.
Nice, consistent. Do you think it'll be a good idea to take a diet break or just maintain it for a bit or keep digging?
Damn. I think it's time for like a little break, man. Shit.
That's a good call.
You probably just need to take a break for very long, though, huh?
No, 28 weeks, like, and when we say break,
Yeah, I was going to say because
We don't need free-for-all.
Thanksgiving's coming up, so it could be, really easy to fucking lose your shit.
But what, maybe 2 weeks of like some freedom?
like he's been dieting. If he says dieting for 28 weeks, he could go again. Be smart with it, but if you're doing a 300 500 calorie deficit, just bring your calories up by 500 for maybe 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
Honestly, 2 to 4 weeks. You're going to see the scale go up a little bit. Maybe it might go up. He's lost 25 pounds.
Yeah, with that amount of calories, it might not go up at all.
It might not go up at all. And one thing that could happen, and this has happened when I was working with a lot of bodybuilders, is the scale might go up a little bit, then the scale might start to go down a little bit more because since you're intaking a little bit more food, you have a little bit more energy, you're burning a little bit more calories. That happens to people.
Yeah, your NEAT goes up.
But the thing is you got to be diligent, man. Because
Got to be paying attention.
that break for a lot of people, it starts with the diet break. And I'm just going to go up by 500 calories. And then it's like, oh, one day at 1,000 calories. And then you're just off the wall. So Dom, you could take a break, but just please don't let it be, a break.
Something I've done a couple times before, but again, you got to be cautious with this, is I would allow myself to eat whatever I wanted one time per day for like 2 weeks. And
But that thing, what's that thing though? Like, because you could
yeah,
have.
no, just can't go too crazy. And then my meals and my other stuff would be like, it would be like a little bit more normal people food rather than like bodybuilder food. So
Okay. Yeah.
I might have like some ice cream at night or something like that. I might have a burrito. I might have a sandwich. I might have like, I don't know, just stuff that you've been eyeballing for a while when you were dieting.
Okay. Dom, your name's going in the bucket. That was a great question.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. There's some other questions, but we will hit these in the next Q&A, guys. So join us in the next one. This was really fun. Did you guys like this? I like it.
It was
It's
great.
fantastic.
great.
Yeah, we'll do it again same time next week.
I like that Jeremy
Maybe.
Avila chimes
Actually,
in.
no.
Jeremy Avila is always here. He's always here talking shit.
Oh, next week is Thanksgiving. Fuck. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. The week after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark.
We don't care about our families.
Fuck family. Okay, Mark. Wait. Let me do this first. Really?
Yeah, you got to get
set
this stuff at the
up.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want this to be random. Okay. Put your hand in the keto
Randomized
pro.
controlled trials.
Pick first person.
Whoa.
So the way this is going to work is, like I told you guys, you got 4 prizes. Now, whoever gets
Oh,
first.
did I pick up one?
Oh, you picked up 2?
Controversy.
There we go.
Okay, so, okay. Zach Morris. Remember, guys, you must message me on the Discord. Send me your email address. But Zach, you are our first winner.
Is that the guy from Saved by the Bell? Zach Morris?
I never watched Saved by the Bell.
Me neither, but I know the actor.
So, yeah. So, Zach, you win the hostage tape, I think, is the biggest prize. So you win that. Okay. Who said our Discord's hard to find? How's our Discord's in the description? I think that was a ploy. Anabolic activities did that, so we mentioned. Thank you. Yeah. If you want to join the Discord, go on our description. Our Discord link is right there.
Kenny or Wyatt, but you guys are the shit.
Thank you, guys. If you can find the Discord in the description, thanks for that call out. All right, so Zach Morris, you are our first winner. Message me on Discord, baby. You will win the Year of Hostage tape. The next winner, Mark.
There we go.
Okay. You will win a gift card to, within you, Josh Brewer. Okay, join that Discord. My Discord username is Nsima. Message me with your email. We'll get you set up, okay? All righty. Our third winner.
Oh, please be Broadhead.
I would love if Broadhead
just
won.
so that we could talk about it again.
Let's get that Broadhead. Come on, Broadhead.
Uh-oh.
No, some girls like, come on, big head. Like, okay, so this one's going to be tough, but Eric, right now, your username in the chat was Eric. So, Eric, you're our third winner, okay? You're going to win some threads from Viore Clothing. Eric Viore, let me write that down. Josh, within Zach Morris, 1 year hostage tape. And 4, you're going to win a Vivo gift card, whoever's the 4th. Good. Eric Royce, make sure to join that Discord. I see you, buddy. I see you.
There we go.
Big A Armory.
Nice.
Big A Armory. Big A Armory. You win a Vivo gift card. Okay. Oh, you want one more winner? Okay, we'll do one more winner. We'll figure out something again. You want to give
within you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another. Okay, yeah, we'll give out more within you. Good.
Oh, you already did it?
We did, but now we're going to give out more.
Sure.
Hey, it's his company. Big Man on Campus. Oh, he's the one who asked the pet question.
Oh, there we go.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. Big Man on Campus, you're going to win a gift card
Big Man.
to Within You. Get yourself some protein or some electrolytes or some fasting gum. They have a bunch of good shit. So, Big Man on Campus, you're going to win a gift card from Within You, but you must join the Discord and message me there, please. All right?
All right. Look, time to end the poll. It's going to end at, looks like 78% people say, yes, you are natty.
Wow.
I'm surprised at that.
That's pretty good.
Hey, you know, my heart kind of makes me feel good. Y'all don't think I'm a lying piece of shit?
Only some people think.
Only some people think I'm a lying piece of shit. Thank you, guys.
Steven Granzella.
Smokey, yeah, dude. I've known that man for so many years, and he still thinks. Well, I think he's coming to my side, but yeah, he still thinks I'm lying. Okay.
All right, everybody. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Hi there. I know you guys like this video, so check this one out.